Nintopic Podcast, all things Nintendo. Yeah!
What is going on? Welcome.
All right, sure.
Welcome to the Nintopics Podcast. Can everybody hear me? First thing, can everybody hear me? Because I'm not sure if I'm muted.
No, you're good.
Can you hear me? Good?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah? Yes?
Uh-huh.
Good? I mean, I think I'm muted. Am I muted?
No, you are not muted.
You're not muted. Maybe we're muted for you.
You are not muted. You are good. Everyone can hear you.
Can everybody see my sign language? That's only the thing I know.
Eat?
Yeah, I won't go hungry because at least I can go like this, right? All right, welcome to the Nintopics Podcast. Yeah, we're three. We got one out, down for the count. We got hopefully she feels better. Our one and only Liz. Liz, if you're watching, I hope you feel better. Randy's here to take your place and to give you all the love and to just give you his side of the world and cover for you. And then of course we'll get Joycey J jumping in the stream any moment now. So when you see Joycey J pop up, put a lot of hearts in the emoji, okay? All right, so we are here live one more time at the Nintopics Podcast. I lost count of episodes. I should have been counting, 11. But I'm not. 11?
That's what it says in your title.
Yeah.
Really? Is that what I put? 11, I guess. I think 11 was last week, but 11 again, I guess. Welcome. And we're here with the one, the only Vandy. 3, 2, 3.
Bunch of obscure numbers. Hello. I am the Club Penguin guy.
The what? The what?
Vandy 323 is from Club Penguin. You know that, right?
No. What's Club Penguin?
You can't tell me you've never heard of Club Penguin.
Club Penguin. I still haven't heard of it.
Did you not play that?
It's a game?
It was like before it got shut down, it was a massive game.
Like
it was a massive game that you could have like your own little penguin. You could have little puffles. You like make your own igloo. There was like a card game they incorporated into it.
Hold up, on Nintendo?
No, not by Nintendo.
Nintendo?
But there is a Club Penguin game on the DS.
Nintendo?
The Nintendo DS. But yeah, my username Vandy323 is for Club Penguin, and now it's my YouTube name.
So with the 323 on it?
Yeah. So like Vandy is always taken, whether by like Vanderbilt, the university, or just randomly. I don't know why. So 323 is where I was like, sure, that's from Club Penguin. I guess I'll just do that.
That's good. And we have the great Paul Gale Network, aka Dr. Nintendo himself. What's up, Paul? Talk to us.
Hot day, just jumping in the pool and coming back in and back and forth pretty much. But everything good. It's been a good day though.
That is awesome. Paul Gale came from swimming with his kids in the pool, having a good time, and I just have to interrupt it and then just wrap him on the pool and brought him to the podcast.
Maybe one of these days I'll podcast from my iPhone. I'll just swim and be like, all right, so I think the Nintendo Switch. Hold on.
That sounds good. Hey guys, we got news today, guys. We actually have the Nintendo Switch 2 just leaked.
Yeah.
Can you believe that? Wait, that's not the one. Sorry. That was the right one. Sorry.
There you go.
There we go. So yeah, apparently we got some news out there we're going to be going over, including the Nintendo Switch 2. We got news on potential games that are coming to the Nintendo Switch. I'm going to share a little bit about background things that I've heard behind the scenes. And we have a good podcast ahead of us. And let's go ahead and start with what have we been playing lately. And man, you know what? At this time, okay, we found out that our very own DJ Joshi J finished Tears of the Kingdom. She beat Tears of the Kingdom, right? And then when the one time she needs to talk to us about it, so when she comes in, that's the first thing we're gonna make her do. We're gonna ask her, "Hello, DJ Joshi J," because everybody here already beat it, right?
Not Vandy yet.
Not Vandy yet. Okay, so
I'm trying. I have put myself in a very unfavorable position.
Oh, so you're right there at the door. And
no, I'm fighting him. I just can't win, and I don't.
Against Ganondorf or who?
Yeah, against Ganondorf, but I don't want to like say it without potentially like spoiling any even like a small detail. But I didn't go in as prepared as I had thought. How about that? So now I am currently one shot, and okay.
I mean, so just so people know, I think. I am currently stuck at 96%. Blue Moon said, wow, 96%. That's a lot.
That's impressive.
That is a lot. So I think we can say this because it's more like a warning. It's not like a spoiler. We're not gonna say anything else. But don't go fight Ganon unless you are completely ready. That's all we're gonna say, right, Randy? Don't fight. Don't go fight Don't go fight Vandy. Don't go fight Ganon unless you are completely ready. And do you know those little things that they cure your little hearts, your little broken hearts? You know what do you call that? Those little recipes that you do to cure your heart, your broken heart, whenever.
The Sandalions thing.
Yeah, Sandalions or whatever you have. Take plenty of that. Okay, that's all we're gonna say. Take plenty of that. We're not saying anything else. This is good that way you know because it sucks.
Learn from me. Learn from me, everyone. Please learn from me.
saw
It's hard right now when I can't. I can take one hit, and then it's just like, oh, you died. I'm like, yeah. What's new? this is try number 30.
Yeah, and from there, Vandy has to get incredibly good at the game in order to go ahead and defeat Ganon. How many hearts you have?
I mean, technically, I have the whole top row, and then I think like 2 from the bottom. So
that's
a good chunk.
Yeah,
but technically, I have like 7 because I'd have no way of getting the rest of them back.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah,
we need to make some food.
I can't go anywhere.
yeah. I mean, yeah. Basically, once you get to where Ganon is, you cannot leave that place. You can restart. You can oof yourself. You can do whatever you want there, but you cannot leave the area. Did I hear a boop? No. Oh yeah, I heard a boop. All right, just in time. Let's go ahead and ask. Everybody, welcome, Joycey J.
Okay, sorry, guys. I was fighting for my life over a really bad Charlie horse.
Oh,
what's the Charlie horse?
Yeah, but it's like insane bad cramp. Like your leg almost, like my whole leg was locked up.
That sucks. I'm so sorry about that.
I'm okay, and I didn't want to be on screen like, yeah, but it was a lot of screaming going on around here.
Well, you made it just in time because basically we just got over Vandy telling us what he's been playing or we're trying to play, and we go to Dr. Joycey J. What have you been playing? What did you do over the weekend?
Well, not over the weekend, but Monday night. Clocked in at 530 hours. I beat Tears of the Kingdom.
What was your percent done when you beat it and you looked at the map for the first time?
77%.
77.
And I can tell you exactly what it is. It's all Koroks because I maxed out my inventory. Thank you. I maxed out my inventory. I found a lot of Koroks. I didn't find all, but I did max enough to max out my inventory and a few more. All the wells, all the shrines, all the caves, all the gear. Hello, my Natsu. For those that don't know, Natsu is my other boyfriend, sort of, in a way.
All right.
We just love good music, and he's my music buddy. He's my music boyfriend. Anyway, so let's see. So I did all that. Gosh, this lighting is not good. I thought I could rely on the sunlight, but whatever. Did all the things. Yes, I cried at the end. I don't care what anybody says. I cried at the end.
I mean, we all do.
But I mean, yeah. But not everybody had that reaction. I know some people were not very happy with the story for different reasons, and it's not my favorite story, but it is a good one. And the cues of the music, and when I looked up the music and the title tracks and all that stuff, I was like, that's why this is this. This is why this is here. This is why this is there. I could have stood to get just a little bit more Ganon. Just a little bit, just a little bit more. But I love how he was kind of, thrown in, not thrown in, but strategically placed at different parts in the story. I loved all the memories, the dragon tears, and I love the ending. It's a great ending. It's exactly what the fans asked for, I believe. It's not perfect, but there were a couple surprises, and I was like, wait, who? So you can do that? Oh, Hylian shield broke. Load the last save. I need to have my Hylian shield back. I know you get it all back at the very, very end, but I have to end with that. So when Vandy finishes,
we'll talk about it.
We will talk about it because I've got some questions. I've got some legitimate questions. And Vandy, please, no rush. Enjoy it. Whenever you're ready, we'll talk about it.
Yeah.
I mean, I tried. I tried, and I was like, I'll beat it a little bit before Joycey, so we don't talk about it. And the game's like, you're not going to beat it right now. I'm like, okay, that's cool. That's fine.
Well, and just so you know, I know that Mike you warned us that we can't get out of there. Yeah, we can. But you do have to load your last save.
Okay.
You do have to load your last save. So just remember, it is a heavy sequence. Heavy meaning like it's at least about an hour long. The full sequence.
Okay.
And if you saved right after this one though, but before blank, you could just get back to blank.
Okay.
That is true. So you can get out of it. So if you don't feel like you're ready, or you're not, or whatever, or you accidentally stumble upon it or something like that, you can't get out of it. So just FYI there. But no rush. We'll talk about it.
No, that's good. So loading the save before that one, right? You can just get out of it, right?
And just as a good gamer tip, when games like, especially these days, if you can save anyway.
Yeah.
Anyway, just go ahead and just save. Yeah, just go ahead and save.
Yeah, and another.
I'll save anyways.
Go ahead, Paul. What was that?
Exactly what Joyce was saying. Like, I see the little auto save circle going in the top right corner.
Yeah.
So I'm like, no, I'm going. What? Save. Like, why?
You little circle blocking me.
30 years,
but
I can't stop.
One more tip. You know, they have those little I don't know, I call them stickers. You can put them on the ground, and they create that little portal for you too. So it's like, so
time travel medallion.
Yeah, that medallion, exactly. So if you put one medallion when you're close to it, right, or at least.
Vandy's like, I have no idea. Vandy, just keep playing. You'll
Do you have a travel medallion, Vandy?
Oh, he hasn't gotten there yet.
Didn't know that was a thing.
Yeah, it basically takes the place of those little things on the ground that you can teleport to. You unlock to teleport to on each tower. Yeah, so it'll you can place it anywhere you want. I went to I forgot the name of the town. Funky Town. Turkey Town.
I don't think it's Funky Town, Big Cat.
It's not Funky Town. It's where you built your own house. I built my own house. I built a mansion and everything in there.
Fairy Town.
Tarrytown. Sorry, I was on mute because I was trying to pull up the thing. But yeah, it's Tarrytown. You actually built Tarrytown in Breath of the Wild.
Yeah. So in this game, I'm not sure if you guys have done it yet, but you actually get an opportunity to build your house. And so you get your own lot. They give you like a beautiful lot on top of the mountain. And this is not story related, but you can go there just in case, like a side quest, and you get to build your own house. So I built my big jet mansion. You need a lot of money, but I had a lot of money because I have a bunch of diamonds. So I built a huge mansion, and then I put one of those travel medallions right in front of it, so I can travel to my house anytime I need to, which is pretty cool.
Free place to sleep if you have anything special you want to keep.
Yeah.
And I won't tell you. I kind of don't want to tell you what the special things are. They're not story related, but I think they're fun Easter eggs for you to find.
Yeah.
That you can store in your house. So.
Yeah. I think that anything that's not story related, it's okay to talk about, right?
Well, in that case, we should tell Vandy about where to get them.
Vandy doesn't want to know. He doesn't want to know. That's why he's covering his ears. He doesn't want to know. That's okay. Vandy, you really, I know you're like super busy, like we all are, but you know, if you ever have a day where it's just like, I'm just going to take the day and just run around in the game, you won't be bored. And you'll just be like, where'd that 12 hours go? You know, I was doing them in 5-hour increments, and I was like, 5 minutes? I just said 5 hours. I've been sitting here for only like 5 minutes. What happened?
Yeah, that was definitely my experience. Like when I first got the game, but
or maybe you're just not interested.
I love Zelda so much, but I can't. My body right now, with where I'm at,
your body's not ready.
Not ready.
I physically can't take a day off. It's kind of a sickness. So I'll have maybe like an hour a night, but a lot of that time is like when my friends are like, let's play fill in the blank. And my FOMO doesn't let me be like, no, I'm going to play Zelda by myself. It's like, yeah, we're going to do that. Because if I'm not there and y'all have an inside joke or y'all did something crazy and I wasn't there, like that kills me more than anything.
Mhm.
So I like playing a one player
Oh.
game is so fun.
Mhm.
But my FOMO with my friends, it's so strong. I would rather do something with my friends. And every
Okay,
night,
Auntie
when I have my
Joycey
free
gonna
time-
teach. Auntie Joycey gonna teach you how to enjoy your alone time.
I
Enjoy
like
your
my
own
alone time when
space.
no one else is doing anything.
Enjoy your own space. Joe's out with his friends right now. I love my man. I love him more than anything. I seriously, I'd die for that guy. But yeah, thank you, babe. Go out. Yeah, go out. You don't have to work tomorrow? Okay, well I do. Go out, have a good time. He needs something. He can call me. He know where I live. He know where I'm at. I enjoy it this time because now I get to spend time with you guys, talk about games, all that sort of stuff. And but when you finish, Fandy, I'm gonna stand up and cheer for you, and I'm gonna be so happy to talk about it because I got some good questions.
Yeah,
I want to know how it ends. I somehow am still spoiler free with all of that, as shocking as that is.
At this point in time, you're doing a great job of saying full spoiler free.
And my job is social media, so I'm kind of shocked that I haven't seen it. But I definitely want to. I definitely want to beat it. It just like it sucks that I was like, I have so much of what I thought I needed, and I didn't have the more important thing that I needed. So, but I'll definitely find a time to load my last save and get all the things I need, and then travel all the way back. But yeah, I mean,
do you have a certain legendary weapon in your inventory by any chance?
The Master Sword?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, of course. I have that.
I'm going to tell you, have when you go into the final, have great confidence in your blade.
Okay.
And that's all I can really say. You ain't gotta have no confidence on it while you on the surface or in the depths and doing all your other stuff. But in the final, when you need it, have confidence in that thing.
Yeah. Okay. And let's move on to Paul Gale Network. Paul, what have you been playing?
To me, Paul.
I played some of the Splatfest over the weekend, so that was.
Oh, I did play that too. And Strawberry was cheated.
I don't know if I've seen a more lopsided victory than Vanilla. Like Vanilla got everything, which was okay for me. But so the Splatfest was fun. That was good. And then also been playing Street Fighter 6 and Final Fantasy 16. I'm chipping away at FF16. I think slower than Zelda.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe it's because I was enjoying Zelda more. But Final Fantasy 16 is still a very good game. It's just I'm not finding myself like I have to play this for 9 hours straight. I need like 7-hour runs. I'm enjoying like an hour, 2 hours at a time. I think I would benefit if I played a little bit in longer chunks, but I'm still liking it. It's still good. And then Street Fighter is my, pick up and play and have some ranked matches. I'm enjoying World Tour mode more than I thought I would because I like the idea of running around, but initially when I saw World Tour mode, I thought, is this going to be quite the story that I want out of a Street Fighter game? Because Street Fighter has a good story, but I'm not playing as Ryu and Ken and going through the mountains in Japan and, training in the wake that I would think like a Street Fighter action adventure game would be and, fight through stages, hop on, go to different countries and Japan and that kind of thing. Instead, you're an NPC character playing, walking around, but you're interacting with these iconic Street Fighter characters and the new people. You're learning their moves, able to incorporate that into your avatar, and it's not perfect in terms of real world physics and stuff like that. That Zelda kind of spoils you. You could walk anywhere, climb anywhere, glide from anything, and when you go back to other 3D open world games, not to say it's completely open world, Street Fighter World Tour mode, but you miss some of those more advanced physics, and then it kind of takes you back to how games were previously, where you could totally jump over this thing that's only 4 feet tall, but you can't. It's just set in the game. So there's a little bit of jank to it, but a lot of fun, like a lot more fun than gripes. And then just the fighting, which is what you really buy Street Fighter for. The online fighting is superb. The arcade mode is really good. It's tight. I love the combos. I'm getting beat so bad by some people that just have mastered it. I'm like, I don't have 8 hours a day anymore to devote to just one game in life and get epic at it. But I'm still pretty good at Street Fighter, so I am having really good triumphant wins where it feels really good, and some frustrating losses. But Pikmin's coming out too.
Yay!
I should say that that's not what I'm playing, but that's what I will be playing next. So then I'm going to have to juggle like Final Fantasy and Pikmin, and then still, have Street Fighter time. But that's what we do. We gotta juggle a little bit.
Yeah.
We're all booked and busy.
Yeah. I want to be honest. I'm having a hard time finding a game that is getting me as excited or even hooked, just like Paul said, as Tears of the Kingdom did. It's like I want to play it, I want to continue playing it, I want to see more. Even going back just to build. I am playing Final Fantasy 16 also. I feel just the same as Paul. It is a good game, but it's not the type of game that kind of brings me in. I think it's because I'm old fashioned when it comes to Final Fantasy. I miss the turn-based combat. I know there's a lot of games out there that are just action combat, just like like Tears of the Kingdom is, just like Final Fantasy is now. But I think for me, that's what kind of caught me from Final Fantasy 7, 8, 9, 10, 10, 2, 11, that the type of combat that it had, like that RPG classic 3-on-3 or 4-on-4 combat where you had you had your crew, 4 right there standing next to each other, fighting against this giant boss and the summoning and all that stuff. And Final Fantasy 16 has a very heavy story, like very kind of heavy story, like sad, heavy. It's a good game, but I haven't picked it up this week. I've been playing a lot of Mario, kind of going back to Mario. I think because I'm excited about Mario Wonder, right? It's a new Mario in a while, so I'm excited about that. And I'm thinking of doing a live stream countdown till Mario Wonder comes out, just like they did with Tears of the Kingdom, and playing throughout Bowser's Fury, which is my favorite Mario game, 3D. But when it comes to other games, I haven't been doing much. But yeah, just Mario and stuff. I'm just trying to. I'm having trouble finding that game.
I have an idea.
Yeah,
All the old Zelda games. No, seriously. Seriously. Yeah, that's a lot of old games. But you kind of it is, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little bit sad that it's over because yay Zelda 2030, but that's in 2030. What am I supposed to do with my life until then?
Wow.
But seriously, you kind of the way I get into games, because I even have to do this with a brand new Zelda because it's not like the last one. So you have to know what the game is, or at least have an idea about it, and accept it for exactly what it is and get immersed in that. Because Bayonetta is not like anything I've ever played. It's not, but it's not like Zelda. Zelda's not like Mario. Mario's not like Splatoon. So I have to understand. I have at least a good enough understanding of what I'm about to be playing, and I just get in that world and I get in that zone and I play it. And it's like, okay, something's gonna is gonna happen where I'm like, well, what does this do, or why did that happen, or whatever the case may be. The closest thing I can say that I like, it's not at all like Final Fantasy, but story kind of heavy is the Phoenix Wright games. And there is, unless you just love pressing just only the A button, it's not graphically the graphics with the remakes are really great, but I like the old school 3DS sprites. But the stories are solid. Yeah, they're a little campy, but they're solid, and it's interesting, and they're funny, and the characters are interesting. But that's all that it is, and you just push the A button to get to the next thing. So it's not visually demanding. It's not you're not going to get cramp in your hand like Bayonetta gives you. Because Bayonetta, you will get cramps in your hand. All that type of thing. So just try to find something that at least sparks your interest, and then just dive into that game.
Yeah, and I have a lot of games. Listen, I have a library of games. I have over.
They're lonely. Go spend time with them.
Listen, I have over 150 digital games on my Switch. Okay. And in the digital, not all downloads on my Switch, but in the digital part, like I can go up and say, okay, I have Monster Hunter Rise there. I played that game for like 5 minutes. It's just there. I got Blade Chronicles 3. I played the 2, finished the 2. I started 3, didn't finish it. I got Fire Emblem Engage that came out this year. I can go back to that one and finish that one. It's just like when I start it, I don't finish it. So I need to get over that rut. Like, come on, just get back and finish it.
Because you may not know what you're missing, because to be perfectly honest with you, there are Zelda games where they start out and I'm like, what? Yeah. Do I feel like this? And there were even times playing Tears of the Kingdom, I'm like, do I really feel like it? And then you just kind of start going through, and it's like next thing 10 hours and go, or 5 hours to go.
This is real talk. It's like, man, like the motivation is not there to finish certain games. I have to be extremely excited. I am very excited about Mario Wonder, and I'm actually more excited about the possibility of another 3D Mario. So I'm actually more excited about the possibility of another 3D Mario than I am about Mario Wonder. But I'm excited about the newness of Mario Wonder. So yeah. I mean, that's where I'm at. I'm playing games here and there. I haven't left the gaming world. Working a lot, 10 hours a day, my day job,
and sometimes you really do just need to sit down and just touch grass and read a book.
Yeah. Or a Kindle. Yeah.
I am the old lady shaking her fist at the clouds, and I am personally against okay, well, I don't want to be against it, but I want to touch books and smell them. Yep. That's what I said. I want to touch books and I want to smell them. I have 3 big old bookcases in there, and then there's books on top of those and everything. Buy your books, y'all. Nobody's going to steal a book. Somebody might steal your laptop or your Kindle or your whatever electronic doohickey that you have.
Yeah.
Buy the books, y'all. Save the paper.
You know what's a good book? I got to do a shameless plug. You should buy this book right here.
I should.
Yeah, for sure.
Amazon. Can you bring it a little bit closer? So everybody can see it.
There we go. Today's episode is sponsored by Leesix Great Adventure by Polygon Network. No, I'm just kidding. It's not really.
Check it out. Guys, look at that book. Look it up. Go get it. Go get it right now. Buy 10 copies each.
And what's it called again?
Leesix Great Adventure. Lisek means little fox in Polish. There's a little bit of why is it called Lisek Great Adventure in the story. But yeah. So I wrote this book. Yeah.
Yes.
There you
we
go,
want to support our homeboy.
Absolutely.
Exactly. Yeah, man. All right, so today,
anyways,
we'll talk about more of the book. We'll bring up the book again at the end, so that you guys can, I'll add the link to the description. You guys can get that Paul Gale Network book. Support Paul. He's one of the jewels we have here on the channel, and we want to support him to the max. So listen up, guys. We talked about what we were playing. We got some news out there, right? Question for the team, for the crew. Is there a lot of news in your corner?
Yes.
I know in the Pokemon world there is. Let's start with Vandy. Go ahead, Vandy. Take it over.
So there are a couple things that have been going on, which is honestly great because we haven't had a ton recently. I'll save the big thing for the end, but the first thing is about Pokemon Unite specifically. I guess in a broader sense, Worlds is coming up. People are preparing for that. But in terms of Pokemon Unite specifically, I'll kind of like piggyback on what Lynn's probably would say. First thing is there's a lot of speculation about what Pokemon are going to be available coming up for Worlds, which is obviously a very big thing because during Worlds and during big competitions like this, normally they just ban out new Pokemon or Pokemon that are too overpowered. And for the first time ever, there's speculation that Zacian, the Pokemon that we always just gripe about, is potentially going to be available for Worlds, which is obviously very big. The speculation is kind of rooted in a couple, competing people have been saying some things and also been playing the Pokemon a lot. when they used to be very like against it and very like, we don't play this. And a lot of them, some of them still are, but it's very interesting to see some of these competitive players play this Pokemon because people are thinking they're gearing up because it's going to be available for Worlds. And the next thing is that Unite actually, just before releasing this new Pokemon called Mewtwo, another very strong Pokemon in the similar category as Zacian, they pretty much sent out an apology notice to all of the community for the months of Zacian being overpowered and essentially ruining the game and ruining the experience for a bunch of players. They kind of explained their thought process, which they weren't necessarily backtracking. They were just trying to explain what they were going for and what their goals were for this Pokemon. But they sent out an apology letter, and they were also apologized for the lack of communication on the entire subject. So I think the Pokemon community, Pokemon Unite community, is at least very thankful for that. But the actual major Pokemon news is that the app that everybody has waiting for, Pokemon Sleep, has finally dropped, and in America. Like, I got it. I have Pokemon Sleep. Tonight will be the first time I use it. I don't know. It's going to track my sleep. I'm curious how it's going to go. It's been available in like the UK and a few other countries for the past couple of days now, but it did finally drop actually while I was live just about like an hour and a half ago or something like that. So very cool, very interesting. A lot of people are just like speculating, what is this going to do? I'm thinking, how the fluff am I going to make content on a game where I just sleep? But it's interesting and it's very cool. It seems to be a cool app as of right now. Obviously the
Vandy slumber party.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Everyone's gonna come over. They're gonna bring their phones, and we're gonna sleep because that's gonna be super fun.
Sleep stream.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting how this is gonna work. Obviously, I think their goal, is trying to regulate your sleep, and you get like better rewards, I guess. Like the better you sleep and the more consistent you sleep, and they'll send like reminders when you're supposed to go to bed. So very interesting. I don't know how it's going to go, but I'm very curious, I guess. But
so I have a question, Mandy, about that. Yeah. So when you sleep and it tracks your sleep, you wake up in the morning and it's like the better you sleep, right? Then the more Pokemon you catch, or the rarer the Pokemon, or how does it work exactly?
So it's pretty much going to track your sleep, and you are going to, and it's going to kind of see how much you moved around, how restless you were. Yeah. I guess just based on like body movement, it can like analyze and detect how good or how poorly you slept that night. Yeah. And I think personally, just because of how this is speculation, because of how like some people just can't fall asleep very well, or some people I think it's probably more so how consistent you are in getting to bed at the same time, and that goal, rather than how well you sleep. But I still think both of the things put together, yes, I think it's like the more Pokemon you catch, the stronger Pokemon you catch, the more rare Pokemon you catch, potentially shinies, Mike. Like a lot of things. Again,
in your dreams.
Ha ha ha. Boom. Joke. But yeah, I don't know fully because again, it just released in the US today, so it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be interesting. And then Lynn said different sleep patterns summon different Pokemon as well. So
I see.
We'll see.
So
it's interesting.
Categories. So there's categories, and then the sleep patterns fall into a certain category, and there's some certain Pokemon in those categories, right?
Yeah. So it's gonna be interesting. I'm gonna use it tonight, and I'll use it probably for the first week, and then I'll report back next week when we go live and kind of get my thoughts on it and stuff like that. But again, I'm more so just very curious. I'm just very curious how this is going to work, but we'll see.
And fun fact, and those who follow the Odyssey know that we cover a lot of patents on the channel, and this is a patent that we spoke about like a year and a half ago about Pokemon Sleep before even it was announced. We saw the patent and how it was supposed to work, and we at the time like, what the heck is that? And another fun fact, there's another game hopefully coming out, because if this one came out, that one is surely to come out. And this one has to do with Mario. And it's basically almost the same exact thing, but this one has a device that you put next to your bed. It also tracks your sleep. It has a projection that goes up to the ceiling and projects something on the ceiling, and it's also a sleeper tracker, but the Mario version for it. I don't know if it will ever make make it to the consumers, but it's interesting that we covered the Pokemon Sleep patent a while back before it was announced and stuff like that, and then we finally seeing it to fruition. Quick note: if you guys are gonna try it, don't put your phone under your bed, under your pillow. Don't put the phone next to your face. Okay, keep the phone on your nightstand at a good distance, not too close, because remember, these phones have radiation, and you don't want to harm yourself while you sleep. Also, the phone's always it's always on. So if you want to use Pokemon Sleep, make sure you're charging at the same time, because it's gonna be the phone's gonna be constantly working and kind of listening in on and tracking your sleep. So make sure you're charging it while you're don't go to bed with 1% battery and then turn on Pokemon Sleep, wake up in the morning, it's dead, and like, what happened?
For
so
sure.
Yeah, there's a lot of things you have to. Yeah, go ahead.
I was just gonna say it also helps because I'm one of those people, I don't like to get out of bed until I'm ready. So waking up every day is kind of tough. Yeah. So I keep mine like on the far end of my nightstand. So I'm kind of forced to roll all the way over and then actually get up and pick up my phone, sort of thing.
That's a good idea. Yeah, that's a good idea.
So it kind of forces you to get up. My mom tried very hard to get me in that habit as a kid, because I can go to sleep. It's the getting up part. I have to be ready to get up versus I don't want to get up yet. That's right. I'm adulting. I have to go like work and stuff. It's terrible. No.
But I mean, that's awesome. Pokemon Sleep, guys, is out now. Download it today. Use it responsibly. And, let's go over to Paul Gill Network. What's in your corner, Paul?
I've been watching My Adventures with Superman. Just wanted to throw that out there because not video game news, but nice. I love Superman, and that's a good. I guess it airs on Adult Swim, but I think I've been watching it on Max. But it's 3 episodes in. It's a new take on Superman, so it's kind of like he's young, Lois Lane, Jimmy Olsen. They're young, like not seasoned. Superman is just coming to, and the world doesn't know his full backstory yet. It's an anime-ish. So it's not quite at the level of like Dragon Ball Z, and it's sort of in the realm of like overboard action and stuff like that, but it's a little bit more spruced up than kind of typical animated cartoons in the West. So that as an anime though, but it's good. It's fun so far. 3 episodes in. I just wanted to say that on my corner. Been enjoying.
I like it. As long as they don't mess with the lore. Don't mess with the lore of Superman, because I'm a Superman guy since I grew up. Christopher Reeve, 24/7. I actually met him when I was younger, at like I don't know where I was, but I know that I met him when I was younger before he had his accident. And I'm a Superman guy completely. That's my favorite superhero. And when I see that they mess with the lore, I mean, you can retell a story differently. Just don't kill the mom instead of the dad, because the dad's supposed to die, not the mom. Things like that, messing with the lore. So
Mary. Oh, sorry.
Mary.
I'm sorry. I think about Batman versus Superman, and
Martha.
Oh, it was Martha. That's right. That's right.
Yeah, Superman.
I should know that because I was a big Superman fan too.
Still my favorite overall character. I've never wavered, and it bugs me when people say like, "Oh, Superman's weak or not cool or nerds." Like, I guess you had to have lived through the ages of comic books and where different superheroes were at, and kind of take it in the overall universe of what made this character so good. What are some of the best tales, the best graphic novels that he's had, and why does he still stand the test of time now? But if you're just jumping in now and like seeing what's the current day, and you're being bombarded with so much everywhere else, like Marvel's handling themselves much better in terms of movies than DC. So I could get why many people might not be on, Superman train as much as I am. But I'm glad that you still are, because he's still great.
Yeah.
I just have to say, please do not apply modern rules to old school stuff.
I'm on the train that if you're gonna do something new with the superhero, make the superhero up from the ground up, build him up, and make the story. Write a new comic book, but don't change what we grew up on. Yeah, our core superheroes, and I just like Josie feels about Zelda. Can you imagine if they make the Zelda movie and they change the entire lore of the show, and they bring on another
It's not
villain.
the Master Sword, it's a Master like
the
Pumpkin or
Super Sword.
something.
Pumpkin?
Master Pumpkin.
The pumpkin's gonna save us all, and instead of Ganon being the baddie or Vadi or something like that, it's like the sign guy Addison. He's gonna kill us all or something like that. Like, no, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Or give us or they can do. I would be okay if it's a brand new story, but the core is absolutely the same. We still have the Master Sword. Link is still the hero. Zelda's still the princess. And whoever the bad guy is, they can make a new bad guy. I don't really care. I love Ganon, but Ganon's kind of a special treat every about 10, 15 years or so. He's a special treat. So he's a special villain. So you can give us a whole new villain, but don't change who Link is. Don't make him like this. Please don't make him this dark emo goth kid who sees the light. No, that's not who Link is. He's a lazy boy who gets this responsibility put upon him, and then he goes and does it. That's who Link is.
Yeah, he stands up and
he has the courage to do it. He has the guts to do it.
Yeah.
Don't change him.
As long as Nintendo is involved, which I would fully expect that after the success of, like it would be going backwards if after the success of the Super Mario Brothers movie, you're like, oh yeah, Nintendo, we could do it on our own. We don't need Illumination. We could do it on our own. Nintendo just signed the rights away. No, like this is what made it so successful is that you kind of worked hand in hand. You lent your expertise in movies and crafting and animating and bringing a story and using, popular music and of the day that was relevant. And then we kept our core characters, how they look, how they animate, which characters to use, which suits to probably incorporate, how not to categorize and just stick to 8-bit or 16-bit, just a little bit of everything. And and that's why it took so long. But you do that with Zelda, Link's probably going to top, and it's probably going to be an original story that's kind of an amalgamation of all sort of Zelda things and like just one new thing. But Zelda's going to be fine. But that's not
just like I don't want deep Mario.
Yeah.
I don't want Mario. I don't want this scene with Mario and Luigi, and they're having this long, drawn out Peter Dinklage from Game of Thrones, because Peter Dinklage as Tyrion, he had some amazing speeches where he would just literally go off on everybody. If y'all have not watched Game of Thrones, for all you grown folks out there,
I just started watching it. I'm not so
good.
But I don't want to hear. I don't want to hear that out of Mario. I actually don't want to hear that out of Link. I can hear that out of Zelda though.
Listen, Mario. Go ahead, Paul.
Go ahead. Talk to me, Paul.
Something that I am liking about Final Fantasy 16, kind of going back to that, is even though I'm not like super hooked, I am seeing quite a few parallels between FF16 and Game of Thrones. Kind of how things are set up, talks behind the scenes, roundtable discussions, even going from villages to villages, certain aesthetics, even from how the show is just animated musically, and they did say, that was a big inspiration in kind of the background and the setting for this game. But that's not my news corner for games. I don't know if this is what you're going to get to next, Mike, so I might be stealing your topic, but I was going to say, I didn't even talk about games. I talked about Superman first. One more distraction part. I would love for a good quality Superman game to exist.
Oh, yes.
Please, Rockstar, take your time. They would be my pick because they nailed it with the Batman Arkham trilogy, like really good quality games. Oh, you can't do Superman. You'd have to nerf him down. No, I think there's a way that you can make Superman as powerful as he is, and don't just give everybody kryptonite bullets. Make it the challenges. It's a sense of time. Who do you save? How can you manage going across this globe and living a normal life, and you'd have your Clark Kent things, and it can't be easy. And people would say, well, Superman would be too easy up in the game because he's invincible. But the difficulty in a Superman game would be how much can you do in your time, and then afterwards there are consequences and repercussions. And there's your challenge where you're not saving a certain country's background enough, and you're not saving as many people from an airplane because you're dealing with natural catastrophes where your alliance go between different countries. And maybe this is kind of a draw of these people are against you, and then they have an enemy that rises up, and that's your superpowered enemy versus Superman. And I'm like, you could take Superman into space too, and you could have, there's a famous comic book where Superman's like, what should I do now? And he hears Hal Jordan saying, Superman, help! And Superman just blasts off and flies millions of miles away in a matter of a couple of seconds, thinking Hal Jordan's life is in danger. And he like helps him out. And he's like, you could have done it yourself, and flies back to Earth. And like, damn, that's a cool scene. That would be awesome. But that's just the thing. Like, some people really wouldn't need him. Anyway, sorry. This is like game pitch, not what we've been doing. But
hey,
but guess what? On that note, there is good news because there will be a Superman game. The new head of Warner Brothers Pictures, DCU, forgot his name. What's his name again? What's his name? I forgot. He's the director of Guardians of the Galaxy.
James Gunn.
James Gunn, James Gunn did confirm. He did confirm that. Well, he's in charge of not only the movie division but all DC when it comes to video games, movies, and TV shows. So he stated that there will be video games for Superman, Batman, all of them, and they will all be voiced by the main characters that are playing in a movie or in a TV show. Like right now, David Corenswet was cast as the new Superman. Is it Corenswet? Is that his name? David Corenswet? I call him Corenswet. So he was just cast as Superman. So he will be playing Superman also in the video games, which is pretty cool. It's gonna be it's something that's never been done. Never been done, and I'm looking forward to it because he said they're gonna tell a story through movies, video games, and TV shows, like one big story, which is very cool. We've never had a movie crossover with the video game, ever.
Isn't Pokemon like that, Vandy? No.
Well, the Mewtwo in Pokemon Detective Pikachu is the one and only Mewtwo from that Pokemon animated film from the late 90s. Like that is a synergy point, but I want to see more. But like
can they please finally y'all, we'll get back to games in a minute, but I gotta say this.
I still have what's new.
Can we please get a full version of the Quest for Peace? Yeah. Come, like, real Superman fans know, Paul. You know exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah. That's Superman 4.
Yeah.
With
I forgot his name.
It's Superman versus
the lightning dude. Or the moon lightning dude. Huh?
Nuclear Man.
Who had long fingernails and like.
Oh my God, that was just. And then Superman got beat by a scratch. Come on.
Anything's better than Superman 3 because when I was a kid, of course I liked it, but as I got older, I was like,
I liked it. It was funny.
Do you know who Richard Pryor really was?
He was just a computer geek that got taken advantage of.
He was. I mean, I liked his character, but it was so misplaced. But if you look and see who Richard Pryor really, really was, there's a reason people like Dave Chappelle look up to Richard Pryor. And no, you can't stream it because first of all, you can't even have kids in the room. And that's why when I got older, I was like, why is Richard Pryor in a family movie?
Family movie, right? It was different times. It was the 80s, and
that's true.
I mean,
why was I watching? Why did I know who Richard Pryor was as a kid?
Yeah, the ratings back in the day were different than now. You know, things are different. You know, a PG-13 is rated R now from back in the day.
Yeah.
You know, and I think almost every movie, I think had an F word. I think the Goonies had it too, right?
Probably.
PG-13 was like 2 F words or less, I think.
Yeah.
One. I think you get
I
one.
think it's 1. Which is why in so many PG-13 movies, it's such an unnecessary thing that they have. And I will never forget the one in Guardians of the Galaxy 3. That was that was such a forced, like, I feel like they were done with the movie and they were like, all right, where do we drop it? Where do we put it? And it's like, there.
As a writer, and to anybody else who writes, use your dictionary, use your SAT words, use your thesaurus. Trust me, anything that needs to be said in a more colorful way, it will come naturally. You don't have to force it. I wrote my Zelda script. Link has a couple colorful words, but they're very well placed. And it's like, yeah, that's really the only way to respond to that. And Mike is sitting there like, this is getting dangerously PG-13 on my channel.
Okay.
I'm good.
Take it back to gaming.
Yeah, I'm gonna take it back to gaming.
In my what's new is I cannot not talk about Jeff Grubb's comment last night.
That's part of our discussion.
Okay, then take it away. That was my I want to talk about this.
I did play Splatfest real quick this weekend. This is my. I don't have any news other than I beat Tears of the Kingdom. And I played, but I did play. I did play Splatfest though. And all I could say was, can you hear me? What?
Yeah, no, I'm just messing with you. Go ahead.
What were you saying?
Nothing.
Oh, okay.
Just messing with you.
Don't make me have to come to Florida. So, anywho, but I was playing Splatfest, and let me tell you, I don't know what was going on, but it was almost it. And I'm not accusing Nintendo, or I'm not accusing it of anybody. I just want to make that clear. I didn't see anybody cheating per se, but it was very, very imbalanced. It's almost like every team I had were a good team of solid A players, and we were all against like X players. And I was like, first of all, when did they put X back in this game? That was Splatoon 2. I don't know if do they have X rank yet? I don't think so. And I was like, where did all these and people, and I know there's this kind of low-key joke of America versus Japan. And Japanese players, it's almost like they're born with Splatoon in their DNA or something because they're that good. No, these were other, I believe, American Western players. So I was like, what is happening? And then when I got if you, for whatever reason, you know how you don't always get paired up with somebody else like from mint chocolate or vanilla, you just go against your same team. They were all solid A players, and so it felt like a balanced game. And I was like, what is happening? First of all, strawberry is the only right answer out of these 3. Second of all, I don't know I just didn't understand what was happening. I did have fun though, and I played a lot of Salmon Run too. That was a good 3 hours well spent.
That's it. Oh.
What?
So we're gonna go ahead and wait. We're gonna go to our next topic, which is, of course, Paul. You were gonna go towards that. We're gonna talk. That's one of the topics today. We're gonna talk about what Jeff Grubb said. Right? His basically his what was the word he used, Paul? There's it's funny. I like how he put it. It's like he has. Let me go ahead and look it up because it's the way he said it is just hilarious. Relatively soonish. Relatively. Somebody say that word. So
relatively soonish.
Relatively soonish.
Relatively. Yeah, Puerto Ricans can't say that. Relatively.
Say it in Spanish. It's fine.
Relativamente. It's longer in Spanish.
¿Cómo?
Right? Anyway, so Paul, you know, I'll give you the first thoughts on this, but let's go over this news here. I'm gonna go ahead and share the screen so everybody can see the news. Where are we? Percent share screen, the window, and the That's not it. Where's the window? Where is the window?
Mr.
Andy.
Window.
It's all Andy's fault.
Sorry.
Man, the window. What'd you do with the window, Andy?
See, that's
I
what you
didn't
get for
do
making fun of
anything.
me.
I didn't make fun of you. Who made fun of you?
You did. Rewind the
nothing.
stream, y'all.
Rewind.
On the screen. All right. Okay. Here you go. There you go. All right. So you guys see? Can you guys see the screen there? Can you see it?
Yeah.
Everybody see it? Everybody see it?
Mhm.
Yeah.
I can see.
Can people? What is this layout? What layout do we have now? Because I can't even see the screen. Anyway, everybody-
It's fine.
It's good. Just yeah.
okay, so this is the title. Jeff Grubb basically said Metroid Prime 2 remastered coming relatively soonish, and something Zelda series related this year, right? And then we can go ahead and read just a little bit. Journalist and industry insider Jeff Grubb has said in the new video that Metroid Prime 2 Remastered will be arriving relatively soon, which is fantastic news to hear, as Metroid Prime Remastered was excellent. He also said that something The Legend of Zelda related is also happening later this year. Basically, that's not part of Tears of the Kingdom, meaning another game that is not Tears of the Kingdom, something Zelda related is happening this year. Okay.
Who said it was a game, though? Does he say that?
No, he just said
Yeah,
it's not anything related to Tears of the Kingdom.
So we don't know if it's a game or amiibo merch. Something
Something
completely
Amiibo-
different.
Yeah, the amiibo was already announced, which is Zelda and
Yeah.
Ganon.
But there's more because I want my Rauru and Sonya amiibo.
Yeah, hopefully. You
That's
never
what
know when you get
that's what Joycey wants. No, I don't know if anybody else wants that, but I do.
And Minoru, because we had her.
Ah, yeah.
Oh,
So-
Yeah, we have to. We need that Minoru amiibo. So yeah, that's basically it. We have two potential games being remastered. We kind of we've heard about Metroid Prime 2, right? But I want to go ahead and put this on the table, right, for discussion. And a couple of days before, I would say maybe yesterday or the day before, or before Jeff Grubb posted this, I shared a post on Twitter stating that I got an email for. I always get emails, a lot of gibberish, people sending me stuff, apparently behind the scenes stuff, and I just refuse to talk about it just because I said I give up on being. I don't want to become no insider, no leaker, nothing like that. I don't talk about anything. Oh, and I keep getting emails. I literally get emails a lot about things that are happening, and I just don't talk about it, and I just don't care.
we'll take all the fun out of just having a conversation. God,
Yeah. So
I loved it when you did leaks and stuff. Well, not leaks, but rumors.
But this one, I saved it and I read through it. Okay, I read through it, and the reason why I said okay, I can mention a couple things is because Jeff Grubb said this in the following day. He said the same exact thing, right? So, when it comes to Metroid Prime, it was a Nintendo Direct announcement, and in the announcement we have the obvious Princess Peach announcement for her game next year in 2024. We had the announcement date for release date for the Dark Moon Luigi's Mansion, which is also coming next year. The email stated that it will be the first half of the year. It makes sense, because we have January, February, March, April, and I say first 4 months, right? Because I think April is where the Nintendo Switch 2 is going to take over and hopefully revolutionize everything. And maybe April, maybe another game on April, and then May, right? Those the first 5 months of the year. But yeah, those two games were mentioned in the Nintendo Direct, and then the other two were Metroid Prime 2 and 3. Dual pack, like they did with Pikmin. Is it 1 and 2? The 1 and 2 HD version remastered. So in the email, it said a 1 and 2 Metroid Prime 1 and 2 remastered as a dual pack. Now I'm leaning more towards what Jeff Grubb said, which is 1, because it makes more sense for Nintendo to make more money. Then they'll release another one next year in February, maybe, or the next Direct, and then that'll give them even more time to prepare for Metroid Prime 4, right? And then the other one was the Legend of Zelda Wind Waker for the Nintendo Switch. No mention of Twilight Princess. Wind Waker, just Wind Waker by itself, to as a port to the Nintendo Switch. So that's the only thing I'm mentioning of that email, just because Jeff Grubb said there's something Zelda related. This could be it. Could be it, could not be it. If it is, I will be happy because I want to play Wind Waker and I would love to play it on the Switch, right? I have the Wii U, but I have to get up and have to. I'm too lazy for that, I got my Switch. My Switch is already there, But yeah, I'm gonna the discussion table is open. We have a potential Metroid Prime 2 remaster coming out soonish, and something Zelda related. I'm gonna go ahead and throw that to Paul, since this was his pick for me for the news. So, what are your thoughts, Paul? What are your thoughts on these two? Because let me just throw behind the scenes a little background thing. Jeff Grubb has a really good track record at mentioning games that are coming out. Not always the date. The track record is not too great when it comes to the date, but if he hears of a game that is coming out, Metroid Prime Remastered is a good proof of that. He got the wrong date. He actually had to shave his head, but he did get the game right. So dates can change anytime. That's up to Nintendo. So take it away, Paul. What do you think?
I definitely think that there's some good weight and good likelihood behind that Metroid Prime 2 remastered coming out, this fall, or being shown off this fall and coming out shortly later, because that kind of cements in well, or links in well, I should say, with what I thought was going to happen is have Metroid Prime 2 come out later this year. If they're going to do just an HD port, we'll release them together or separately on the eShop, but maybe together as one cartridge. Metroid Prime 2 and 3, and then 4 would come out next year. But if Metroid Prime 2 is going to have the remastered treatment, the same as Metroid Prime 1 did, which is, more than just throwing it in 1080p 16:9, calling it a day, but like actually doing some retextures, some quality of life improvements, making sure there's multiple control schemes, stuff like that, then that takes a little more time, and then that's worth a $40 purchase on its own. Heck, I think a lot of people would probably say that's worth $50 or $60, but if they already did Metroid Prime 1 for $40, they probably are kind of locked in now that they have to do 2 for $40, unless if 2 gets like a crazier remake, like Resident Evil 4 style. But I don't see that. But, this might be, depending on what month that comes out, it might give us a good timetable of when can we expect Metroid Prime 4. It's just a little bit of a theory, if you will, but not even a theory, but if Metroid Prime was February, and let's say hypothetically 2 comes out in September, we say, okay, that was 7 months apart. And then what's another 7 months after there? April. What's another 7 months after there? November next year, Metroid Prime 4. If they wanted to kind of stagger them, because you don't want to give too much Metroid all at once, because none of them will sell to their maximum potential, but put them. So that's kind of what I'm going with, like February, September, April, November as a release of 4 individual Metroid games. And if that's true, part of it is wishful thinking, because I really want a Metroid game, but then that would sync up well with, okay, November 2024 is Nintendo Switch 2 with Metroid Prime 4 as a cross-gen title, one of the launch games for NS2, but also for Nintendo Switch, and it's launching alongside, something that is bigger, like a Mario Kart or Super Mario 3D game. But I think the Metroid Prime 2 one is definitely a lock. The Zelda one, I don't know what it is. It could be something smaller. It can't be something big. I would love it, because this is a special year. It's 2023. This is the 25th anniversary of The Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time. And before we knew of Tears of the Kingdom, like back in 2018, before that June 2019 teaser of the sequel to Breath of the Wild is now in development, I was like, man, Breath of the Wild.
I still get chills from that.
Breath of the Wild was fantastic, but for the next Zelda game, take a break from a new one, and I want the next one to be in 5 years, 2023, and have it be an Ocarina of Time remake for the 25th anniversary. That didn't happen. Well, I don't think it is, because we got Tears of the Kingdom this year, and that's fantastic. Of course, not complaining, but nothing too big from Zelda could come out this November, because it would, I think, compete against Tears of the Kingdom. So maybe a smaller game, maybe a port like Wind Waker, or something like Joycey said. Maybe it's not game related. Maybe it's the Legend of Zelda Lego crossover that has been,
or the movie announcement, or the movie announcement.
Oh my gosh, a movie announcement! Nintendo and Illumination are proud to announce that
we're working on this movie with these actors, like they did with Mario.
In development. Here are the actors. Whoa!
Could it be something as small as like, here's a new amiibo? Could it be something that small?
It could be, because we already know of 2 amiibo. So Jeff hears something that, to whomever told him, did they say something or something that we don't know yet?
But then it's not Tears of the Kingdom related, so then I don't know if amiibo even counts. But amiibo can be used in most games, period.
Most games,
So I would rule out. I know Jeff Grubb probably heard about a game, because I don't think he would actually say anything about an amiibo. Especially when amiibos are already announced. We're still expecting when are the next 2 coming out, that they were already announced. So I'm guessing it could be a game to me. I think it could either be, like I said, either Wind Waker, or hey, who knows? We might get another. I don't know. Even if they announce it in the Nintendo Direct, it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to come out this year. What if they say, okay, we have another Zelda game to announce? That's what he heard. Remember, Jeff has a good track record with the games, not so much with the release date. So, it could be that there's an announcement for a new Zelda game for next year, and it could be a Link to the Past, just like they did with Link's Awakening, right? Like one of those remakes, be like the little beautiful remakes for next year. Or
we have one of those.
Or just imports, just imports.
I could see it being Wind Waker. Simply because I thought it was really, I don't want to say weird, but just like not on, like, so they're saying of like not on my bingo card when they announced Pikmin 1 and 2, because those were GameCube games. Right. And those are the first time, or one of the first GameCube games, because they were hyping up the Nintendo 64, and all of those games are coming. But we don't, to my knowledge, we didn't get a ton or any GameCube games that were coming to the Switch and being playable. So I could see it being another one of those GameCube ones if they're trying to add more of those to their arsenal, especially considering, I feel like, again, if it was something small-ish, I feel like Grubb wouldn't have really said anything about it. It would be really weird to hype up something small like an amiibo, and if it's not Tears of the Kingdom DLC, what could it be? I could definitely see it being Wind Waker as well, especially considering I know a lot of people have been wanting Wind Waker, I'm guessing. And Ocarina of Time, unfortunately, even though people don't necessarily love how it feels, it's technically on the Switch. It's just may not feel the same as when you played it 25 years ago. So I could definitely see it being Wind Waker, and that's like the small, I guess, maybe hopeful side of me that kind of sees, like, if they're adding Pikmin 1 and 2, what other GameCube games are they adding? Wind Waker would be a great one if they want to continue to ride the hype of Zelda. So I don't know. That's what I thought of at first when he said Zelda series, not Tachka related.
What do you think, Joshi?
So, couple things. One, nobody here, of course. We all family. But I wish people in general would not give Jeff such a hard time about, whatever. Because the thing about it is, as somebody, I'm an insurance agent, regular old job, but businesses change things all the time. Y'all know what it's like. Change things all the time. They'll have this huge campaign, and you're all gunning for it, and you're ready to promote it, and then they just suddenly just say, "Oh, this has been put on hold," or "We're not doing it." You know what I mean? Happens all the time. So when I hear these rumors or anything like that, I take them all with a grain of salt, unless there's some kind of physical proof or somebody data mined something dark side, whatever, you know. So so there's that. But I do think that these discussions are fun. That's why I like the rumors. And I'm like, yeah, it's July. It's about direct rumor time, you know, for September. Yeah. It's about time. So when it comes to Metroid, I truly believe they're trying to lead the horse to water, if you will. You know, like, y'all like Dread, right? Okay. Well, just in case you don't like Dread, let's give you another taste of what Metroid's really like. Here's Metroid Prime Remastered, and then here's Metroid Prime 2, and then I do think we'll get a 3, and then I do think 4 will drop either. I don't know when it's gonna. Probably either next year or year after next. You know, I think it's definitely going to be whenever the new system is announced. Whenever that is, I have my sights on 2024.
Tomorrow's the day. Tomorrow.
Oh, I got a joke about that too. If y'all didn't see my tweet,
I saw yours.
You saw my
the tattoo?
Yeah, Nate said if tomorrow if new Switch hardware is unveiled, I will get a tattoo of whatever the name is. And I said, you know what? I'm gonna put my skin on the line as well. I will also get a tattoo if they unveil it tomorrow.
Tomorrow? Who said tomorrow though? Who mentioned it first?
It was a tweet that somebody put out, and Nate was just laughing at it, and I was laughing at it too, and I was just like, Nintendo ain't gonna slip up that bad. They may let all their games leak. Pikmin 4 is out there, you know, guys, be careful. But they're not letting hardware leak, not like that. And the only reason we even know that that new hardware might be coming is because of all the Microsoft, Sony stuff. I love how Nintendo came up in all of that, and they weren't even part of the suit. They're like, we over here drinking water and minding our business. Why y'all keep bringing our name into it? Anyway, now when it comes to the Zelda thing that Jeff said, it could be a number of different things. You all have a very good point that, like, why would Jeff mention anything about Amiibo? You know, like, you know, why would he mention that? Nobody really cares. And when we get it announced, we're excited then, but we don't really care ahead of time. But, you know, but because it's not specifically Tears of the Kingdom related, my mind did go to a few places, either a port. I would say probably Wind Waker, because we're kind of on we're on a very good color scheme, if you will, and Twilight Princess is a lot more gritty. Even though it was the best selling Zelda game before Breath of the Wild, because people really wanted a Zelda in that gritty kind of thing. But we're on this really colorful thing here, so I don't know if they want to mess that up. So I could see Wind Waker. I can also see, because I remember when Age of Calamity Hyrule Warriors came out of nowhere. Nobody asked for this. Nobody said anything about it. It wasn't on the rumor mill. And it was just like, oh God, that's a thing. I want that. And which was a great game. If you like Warriors style games, Age of Calamity is excellent. So that could be a thing. But since it's not, but he said specifically not Tears of the Kingdom related. So I don't know if Hyrule Warriors is even a good thing to throw into the mix here, because when it comes to because Hyrule Warriors by itself that came out in 2014 was its own. It was basically a love letter from them to the series, because they're who is it? Koei Tainemco. Am I saying it right, Paul? Okay. It's their love letter to the series because they love the series. Age of Calamity was specifically to say, well, what if the champions could have been saved? It was kind of like its own timeline. The only thing I could think of that they could do with the Hyrule Warriors from Tears of the Kingdom is if we all talk about the imprisoning war again.
Yeah,
that's a criticism. Let's talk. So now let's watch the imprisoning war play out. I would love that.
Right? Yeah.
But that still falls in both categories of, well, it's not really Tears of the Kingdom, but because we've been talking about the imprisoning war really since A Link to the Past. So that could be a thing. Or it could be something. I know I heard somebody say, well, what if it's just a brand new top-down Zelda and it's on nobody's radar and nobody's figured that out. And I'm like,
that would be interesting.
That'd be cool. I'd be down for that. I personally don't want another remake of Link to the Past because I think we already got it in Link Between Worlds. I love Ocarina of Time. Ocarina of Time isn't my top 5. Yeah, because another game just got knocked down to 6. That was been in my top 5 for years. So, but the thing about it is, for me, I think those games are wonderful, but they're of a time long gone. It's great nostalgia. Go back and play them in the original state. Enjoy them. But guys, let's move on. You know, Ocarina of Time ain't going nowhere. It's been remade. It's been ported to every system. It's out there if you just want to go buy it. If you have an old auntie or uncle like me, they probably got one in there. They probably got an old Nintendo 64 in their attic. Go get that, you know, and just go play it. But let's move on. Let's move on. I don't mind importing GameCube games and stuff like that, but how many more versions of Ocarina of Time do we really need? And I say this as somebody who loves Ocarina of Time. Do we really need another one?
Unless
okay, well, Vandy says yes. Well, okay, Vandy.
Unless they go the remake route, which is a remake is not so much as when I mean remake is look at how they went from Final Fantasy to the Final Fantasy remake. They're two, even though one is inspired by the other one, and it's basically similar. Kind of the same story. They're very different games, and then they took Final Fantasy VII and they've broken it down into a couple of games, you know. And when Final Fantasy VII was just one game on PlayStation 1 that came out. So if they go that route, right, they give it the open world treatment again, and I mean, I there's a possibility that they could if they pick one game out of the entire series to remake, I'm pretty sure that's the most popular game, right? Out of the
no, it's Twilight Princess. That's the game that sold the best, and it's also critically acclaimed. But so is Ocarina of Time. I don't think we need remakes now, and everybody can do whatever they want to do. Of course, I'm gonna buy if you slap some Zelda on it, I'm gonna buy it. But the point is that, and I know somebody in chat made a good point. They said, you know, A Link Between Worlds wasn't a remake; it was a sequel. But the real reason for remakes is so we can update graphics, make tweaks to stories and everything. So I have an idea of what A Link to the Past would look like with quote unquote better graphics, non-Super Nintendo graphics. I don't care about, I've never cared about graphics. I still don't. So I want something new. Let's add to the greatness that is Zelda. Let's tell a new story. It's okay if it's not beefy like Breath of the Wild. It's okay if it's not big like Ocarina of Time. You can give us little stories. I'll take a $40 story. I'll be happy with that. In fact, I think they should do that in the interims. I think that'd be great. I'd pay $40 for, you know, a good 50-hour game, 40-hour game, and just be able to go through it and just enjoy it for what it is. I think that kind of stuff is good because it's just, we don't need it. Y'all, we don't need it. I think Ocarina of Time needs to be remade when I'm a really, really old lady and I'm watching a direct in a nursing home surrounded by my great-grand nieces and nephews. That's when I need, that's the generation that needs a remake of Ocarina of Time. We don't. That's just my opinion.
I'm on the side of like, after being spoiled by just how much of a jump did Final Fantasy VII get from then to now, Resident Evil 2 from then to now, Resident Evil 4 from then to now. It looks like Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater from then to now.
That's fair.
I would love to see that grand scope applied to Ocarina of Time and add some modern sophistication to the gameplay and controls, and anything that Nintendo wanted to incorporate in the game but couldn't then because of technical hurdles. Now you have access to more CPU, more GPU, voice acting if you wished, fully orchestrated music to some of the best tunes in gaming that has lasted for 25 years. And I don't know. One day I want it. Maybe it doesn't have to be for the 25th or 30th anniversary, but like that's a game.
When we're in the old folks' home surrounded by our great grands, we can play Ocarina of Time in fifth dimension HD, we could beam into the game ourselves, kind of whatever they have going on at that point. We could totally do that, you know. And I'll tell my great grandnieces and nephews, back in my day, you know, we had to use a controller and sit on the couch and play like this, you know. I'd love that. But I just kind of, I guess my whole thing is I guess in a sense, I'm kind of a purist, not totally, a little bit. I think let's focus. People always joke about the CDI games. If Nintendo really, really wanted to admit that those even exist, they like to pretend they don't exist. We know they exist. Let's take things that weren't so great or weren't so well received or didn't come across the way the developers intended. Let's take those games and then remake those or port those or update those. I think, and I love Ocarina of Time on the 3DS. I think it's beautiful and it's HD and it's great and everything. But I don't need another one. I just don't need it. I'm sorry. I want it for Vandy now, though, but I don't need it.
But I would literally take anything because the only reason I played Link's Awakening was because it came to the Switch and it was a remake, right? Right now, Ocarina of Time is on 64 online. Mm-hmm. I tried it, didn't really get far. I was just not interested in it, just because maybe I'm already,
because people don't like the graphics because they can't appreciate what it was.
Yeah. I'm at the time when it came out, it was it, right? So there you would have enjoyed it more, but just now because our minds are spoiled with these amazing graphics, a Link's Awakening, just beautiful. That game was just gorgeous looking, and I would love for all the games to come back. You know, from the remake Zelda 1, remake Zelda 1.
We already had a remake of Zelda 1. It's called Breath of the Wild. That's where. Okay, little known fact, and Paul could correct me if I get any of this wrong. Talk to me, Paul. He can correct me. But Miyamoto's original vision for Zelda was Breath of the Wild, but we couldn't do that on the NES. Couldn't do that on the SNES. And then, of course, you get a team together and you come up with all these other ideas. So Breath of the Wild was, Zelda 1 is technically the original Breath of the Wild. He always wanted a big open world. He always wanted all this exploration. And that's kind of part of why Breath of the Wild, as much as I love the game, it's a little bit empty-ish, because it was all about just discovering and just seeing this huge, massive world. That was always the dream. But they just didn't have what they had. So and as much as I love Zelda 1, which is the one that got knocked down to number 6 because Tears of the Kingdom has taken its spot on my top 5. I can't believe anything cracked into my top 5 after all these years.
What number though? What number in particular?
Currently, it's number 5. I'm weighing it against the other ones. Yes, I'm having deep thoughts about where I'm going to officially rank it. I'm gonna pick it up again in probably another few months, but my other games miss me. Pick it up another few months, and replayability is a big one for me. Okay, yeah. A Link to the Past, I can play every day, all day, and be giggly and happy, and I don't need anything else. Same with Ocarina of Time and same with Majora's Mask. And Zelda 1. Can Tears of the Kingdom do that for me in a few months? And Twilight Princess, I can replay that all day too. But can Tears of the Kingdom, can it capture me the same way it did now in 6 months? In another year from now. So it might be a while before I really decide where in that top 5 it goes. But
it's really a question. That's a really good point there. Replayability. I didn't think about that. But I mean,
I don't want to play Link's Awakening again. It was great just to see the remake and all the colors and everything. But I was like, when I was done and I 100%ed it, I was like, okay, that was fun. Great, awesome. Move on.
I played Link's Awakening about 5 times, so to me, it's replayable.
You played on hard mode?
Oh yeah, Link's Awakening, the remake.
Them old school games have no mercy.
Yeah. And,
you will die.
Let me go over to Vandy. Vandy, did you give us your input on the grub thing?
Yeah,
no, because I took over his spot. I'm sorry, Vandy.
No, you're good. I pretty much just said, like, if I had to give like a set guess as to what Grub was talking about in terms of what the Zelda big question mark would be.
Mhm.
I would just lean towards a Wind Waker port because,
Mhm.
again, I think a big bombshell that I don't think a lot of people are talking about is that they're now bringing GameCube games over to the Switch in order to be played over there with Pikmin 1 and 2. And I
Yeah.
get that was supposed to hype up Pikmin 4, which I think is a great thing because Pikmin 4 isn't as Pikmin series itself isn't as played as a Zelda or a Mario or a Pokemon. And so
Mhm.
by giving people a chance to play the origin of those games, I think it would then help the sales of Pikmin 4. Hopefully, as I'm guessing, if I was on the marketing team, that's probably what I would do. So I
Mhm.
don't think that they need to do that with the Tears of the Kingdom, obviously.
Mm.
But if they're able to transition and be able to port over GameCube games, I guess maybe not necessarily easily, but that they're able to do that, I could see them doing that with Wind Waker, which is the next one that's the next Zelda game that's supposed to get at least a little bit of love, considering we already have Ocarina of Time
Mhm.
on the Nintendo 64 Online. And so that is just like a guess because I don't think it's going to be anything smaller than a port because I think the
Mhm.
port is probably the smallest thing anyone would suggest. Because I don't see it being a remake after Tears of the Kingdom, and I don't see it being a brand new game either.
Yeah.
But that
Yeah.
would be cool. But I think a port is that like perfect middle ground of y'all just got Tears of the Kingdom, we got Pikmin 4, we got Mario coming, we got a remaster of Metroid coming. But in order to top off this holiday season before we drop the Switch 2, which is my guess, we're also just gonna add in a very beloved Zelda game that kind of got some love with the Wii U, but no one really touched the Wii U anyway, comparatively.
Yeah.
So let's try again. So
That's
that's what I would guess, but
That's a very good point. That's a very good point. It did not get as much love as it could have gotten. Because the Wii U, look at games that they look at Mario Kart. Mario Kart, they deluxed it into the Wii, and now it has never left the top 5 of the top 10
It's deluxe.
in games. Period. Every single top 10 list that I've seen, I'm talking about top 10 where you include PlayStation, Sony, and say PlayStation, Xbox, and Nintendo. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is always on that top 10. And still to this point. So I can only imagine how good these not Ocarina of Time. I have stuck in my head.
Wind Waker.
Wind Waker and Twilight Princess could have done if they would have ported them sooner in the beginning of the lifespan of the Switch. Knowing that they didn't do that great on Wii U, bring him to the Switch at least in the second year, they could have done very well. So that's a very good point.
I think Wind Waker could do better because Wind Waker originally was not well received, but the love that has come to it over time.
Yeah, with time, yeah.
And also, Wind Waker has the Dragon Roost theme, which is the best theme in all of Zelda. Fight me.
Yeah. And Wind Waker is the example of we have to let things kind of, what do you call that? How do you call it? Let
Simmer
it cook for a little bit. Yeah, simmer. And then people will enjoy it. And even if they do announce a Zelda game, I don't think it's going to be for this year. It could be for next year. No. Because this year is already packed. And going back to the Metroid thing, just giving my 2 cents here on this grub thing. Metroid, we could hear Metroid Shadow Drop just like they did with Prime 1, Prime Remaster. Shadow Drop on that September Direct. Metroid Prime 2 Remastered, available today, just like they did. They can do that, and just because right now we have August and September. Those 2 months are empty. Nintendo doesn't normally release anything in December. They kind of end with their games in November, right? So we still have these 2 months open. We have August and September. So any moment, maybe Nintendo can Twitter drop something for August. Who knows? Just like that, once everybody's show their stuff, And you guys didn't get the joke there, right? You guys get it?
Wait, say it again. I'm sorry. I'm reading the chat.
It was a pretty bad joke. Once everybody show your stuff. That's what happened. It was horrible. Anyway, moving on. Shadow drop for August, or and then shadow drop for also September, or maybe we don't get anything in August. We get a direct in August, and then September we get something else. No, who knows? Who knows? Maybe we'll get Switch 2 tomorrow. But I can actually
No,
see
because
that.
then I got to get a tattoo. I don't want.
What of a Switch? Switch.
I don't know. I forgot exactly what he said, but I think it's the name. I would have to get the whatever the name is, and I'll probably just mix it with something Zelda related. Like I'll put a Triforce and put the name under it. I could put it like on my ankle or something little where nobody will see it.
That's hilarious. That's so funny.
Yeah.
All right, let me go ahead here. And okay, so this is a good segue to move into our next topic, which is Switch 2. Okay, so
oh, Lord.
we had a major leak, guys. I'm telling you, this leak, it has literally put all leaks to shame. I mean, leak, it's like crazy. It's like, since the NES has Nintendo. You know what? Let me just do like one of those Apple presentation, walk side to side. Today, I want to introduce to you the brand new. You know what? Let's go back to the leak. This leak has made me believe that the Switch 2 will not be called the Switch 2. Okay,
I liked it when it was called Switch Pro. I thought that was a good name.
That was a good name.
That was a cool name.
Yeah, it was. This Switch, okay, it's not gonna be called the Switch, okay, and you guys are gonna see why.
Is it the NX2?
Nope, it's not.
Y'all remember the NX phase?
NX2.
Maybe Nintendo. Is it showing right now on screen?
No,
not yet.
Not yet. Share the screen. Okay. Introducing. I have the honor.
Still not on screen.
I know. I'm going to go ahead and reveal it.
Okay. Sorry.
So that's not it. Hold on. Let me put some. That's not it. Nope. Introducing a console that will revolutionize the entire industry. A console that will literally make you hungry. A console that will put a smile on your face. That was not working that well. The Nintendo. Wait, that's not it. The Nintendo Switch. Is it showing? Not yet.
Mm-mm. There we go.
The Nintendo hot dog button.
That looks very weird. It looks so weird.
I forgot.
Somebody
already claimed that.
Yeah, that's gonna look really good on your
If
on
you
your
look at the
ankle
logo,
there.
if you look at the logo has been changed from Joy-Cons to hot dog buttons. Okay, so this is the Nintendo hot dog buttons.
And now just imagine a Link to the Past Link with his pink hair in the middle, and that's going to be my tattoo.
Yeah.
And he's holding up the Joy-Con, the hot dog buns.
It just like hurts
there
my
you have
eyes. It hurts. It's like if they took an iPad and just threw on
They screwed some
Joy-Cons.
It hurts my soul.
No, hold on. They actually managed to make the Joy-Cons look worse than they do.
Yeah, they did.
Look, I'll take if they have no drift, I'll take those all day.
It has a drift. Look, when you try to put up, it has like a little gap where it's just gonna slide up and then miss your finger.
Maybe that's the aesthetic.
First of all, y'all do know this is a fan mock-up, right?
What?
Let's clear that out.
Yeah, y'all know that, right? Yeah, y'all do know it's a fan. It's not a leak, and it's not something that somebody, I don't think, purposely or maliciously put out there to make us think another thing. It's just it really is just a fan mock-up. That's been around for years.
What they want it to look like. Well,
or what they think it might look like. It's not. Yeah, it's a fan. It's just a fan mock-up.
So is the box to the left? Is the base? Is that supposed to be it docked?
I think
that.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
The Nintendo Switch that docks and you can see the screen does have some extra, uses to maybe a quick play, a quick news update, a video thing, a teleconference thing. But then again, like how many people use their Wii U as the face cam communication? I did a few times with friends, which was pretty awesome actually, but not many people did.
You could download your Pokemon Sleep on this.
I don't know if I'd want to see it twice though. Like if I could see it like miniature there and like big on my TV, I feel like I wouldn't want that.
But maybe when it's docked, it's not giving you a mirrored image, but the actual kind of like the actual cover of the game, or or maybe the time. Maybe the time it just turns into a clock, right?
It's a clock.
Yeah, like a clock. It tells you how long you've been playing or something, right?
I don't need to know that, Mike. I don't need to know that I've been playing for 7 hours. I'm chilling.
I was also going to say the other reason that that it's a mock-up is because look at the game that's highlighted and look at the title.
Yeah. What's the title?
The Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom. First of all, of and the and Tears of the Kingdom, of and the aren't capitalized, and if in a title those kind of words aren't capitalized.
Yeah. I do like a little. You know what? Let's throw some positive vibes out there to this little horrible mock-up. This.
First of all, since it's a mock-up and it's just some fan's idea, I'm not knocking that at all.
Yeah. So at least the overall ugliness of it, could be at least kind of. I'm talking about at least the screen, the home screen looks a little, like a little better because
sleek.
I don't think it's ugly. I just want people to understand this is a fan mock-up and we're not purposely spreading any misinformation. We're just having a conversation. So please, nobody email Mike about how quote unquote he shouldn't be spreading misinformation. That is not what we're doing here.
Or in the comments, please.
Or in the comments. We're just having a conversation.
The screen definitely mimics like an iPhone app kind of vibe. Like I honestly, it does kind of give like a futuristic vibe. So again, fake, but like I feel like this could actually be like a decent, not the controllers, not the dock or anything like that. But I feel like the screen, it kind of does give off like iPhone app vibes. And I think that definitely gives off like futuristic, advanced software, at least just like the look of it. I feel like that would honestly look kind of cool. I think that looks better than what we have now, to be honest, just boxes. Like, I feel like that looks really cool.
I'm sorry, but I'm somebody who really likes to be able to dress up the background and change up the background on their screen. Yes, I would spend time doing that. Okay. So I do like, there's a lot of fan also designs and mock-ups and suggestions of how Nintendo can do their home screen. So you can see your games and stuff like that. I would really like that. And I would like themes other than just white and black. Like, for what? Like, I want a big old nice Zelda background whenever I turn my Switch on and I play Octopath Traveler, which I'm going back to this weekend or next weekend. So yeah, I do like the sleek, because I think what the person was going for was some kind of sleekness, because it is kind of like iPhones, even though iPhones may not change very, very much. It does get a little bit sleeker, a little bit thinner every single time. Just a little bit, just a little bit more like, oh, that's smooth. That's nice.
And to be honest, the Switch 2 doesn't have to change that much. It just needs to be more. It just needs to be more powerful. Give us better graphics, and be more accessible to third-party games. Because there's a lot of third-party games out there that would love to be a part of the 150 million accounts that Nintendo has. They would love to put their games on. I mean, God of War, Ragnarok, I can see it on here. Or what's the other one?
I would love to propose that question to you guys, because I saw somebody in chat say it, that we don't really care about what it looks like. Is it going to be more powerful? What do you guys think about that? Because I know I've had my thoughts on it. I have a business thought, and then I have my own personal old Auntie Joycey thoughts.
Mm-hmm. Let's put it this way: if it's not broken, if it's working, it's for the first time they've actually managed to bring two worlds together, and literally do it better than anybody else. Because PlayStation tried with their Vita, and they had it for a while. It was pretty good for a while, right? But it's no longer exists. They try now, but they're now catching up to the Wii U. And Nintendo with their Switch, they managed to actually merge the handheld market and the console market together and bring us a Switch. All they have to do is just build upon that. You know what I mean? Yeah, make it look better, like nicer, sleeker, more futuristic in a little way, just so that we can get excited about how we look. And hey, look, I have the Switch 2, and no, it's not. That's the Switch 1. No, this is the 2. No, you don't believe me? Look at the serial number. We don't want to do that. We want to, kind of differentiate that we do have that model. And I think Nintendo understands that too. It's been seven years since we've had that, so it's good for a physical upgrade. But yeah, I think they need to make it more accessible to third-party developers out there, so that they have enough to work with, and then more games come to the Switch. And even people I'm pretty sure that if Nintendo makes a very good console that is powerful enough for third parties at least to bring their games to the Switch in some fashion, even if it's not as high graphic looking as the PS5 or Xbox Series X, I'm pretty sure that a lot of people out there would buy a Switch just so they have the opportunity to take it with them and play that game on a plane, or in the park, or in the car, or on the bus, the train, whatever. So that's what I think. What do you guys think?
I think we just need to reiterate the fact that the difference in terms of strictly graphics between like the Xbox or like the PS4 and the PS5, or the Xbox One and the Xbox Series X, it wasn't necessarily that big in terms of graphical differences. It was different a lot and more in terms of the power for updates, downloads, different things like that. Because again, if you look at like a Call of Duty or like a sports game, yeah, I'm not going to say it didn't look any better. Of course, they did look better between any of the two games when you look at those consoles. But it wasn't this giant, drastic, massive difference. So if someone says the Nintendo Switch is going to have the same power as a PS4 or an Xbox Series X, that's not nothing. That's not like this underpowered, behind the times machine. Like, okay, it might not be able to download a 32 gigabyte game in 11 seconds, but there are maybe like 5 32 gigabyte games ever, or like 132 gigabyte games ever released on the Switch. Like it's not going to need to do that. What it's going to be able to do is run the games probably way more than they need to, while giving the opportunity, like you said, Mike, for those 30-party games to then be playable on this console, and have it be handheld and have a battery not overheat, all while having this insane power that people were like absolutely fawning over probably like 2 years ago. But just because it's not a PS5 or an Xbox Series X doesn't mean it's this behind the times machine. If anything, it's more advanced, because it's going to look very similar to those games or to those other consoles, while also having a handheld version that's not going to burn your hand when you start to play it. So again, I don't like it. It's so funny to me when people are like, oh, it's not the PS5 then, so I'm just going to stick with my PS5. It's like, okay, well, I'm going to take my Switch on the plane, and you can leave your mini fridge at home, because that thing's freaking insane. But the games are going to look incredibly similar. The download speeds are even going to increase then when we get this new power.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't need to download 200 gigabytes for any Nintendo game ever.
Yeah, and to add to that, I think you make a great point. But and when people say, "Oh, PS4 and Xbox One," you have to think about this. That's PS4 and Xbox One back then. We're talking about PS4 and Xbox One now. Imagine the processor. Imagine the storage that the Switch is going to have. They're not going to be the same exact storage that we had back in the day, the hard drives that they had back in the day. We've already gone through SSD, and now we're in M2, which is crazy fast. If Nintendo manages to take a console and get that power from the PS4 and Xbox One, plus a hard drive like M2 drive that is extremely fast, and it has a really high transfer rate when it comes to large files, then yeah, we can actually get really fast download speeds on the Switch, because you're using that power, but with today's technology, plus, like Vandy said, on the go. You know.
All right.
What do you think, JC?
I don't speak tech, so this is my thoughts of a lame person, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
I personally don't care. The games look good enough. I'm fine. But I understand business wise. Here we go. Yeah, my business thoughts. If they can do it, and y'all could please correct me, because like I said, I don't speak tech.
Yeah.
If they can get something that runs extremely well in handheld mode for a reasonable amount of time, I think 3 hours is reasonable. 3 hours or more is reasonable, without burning your hand, burning your blowing up your system. But then when you put it in the dock and it switches to something like, oh, we're in 5th dimension now, or whatever it is. We're in 5th dimension HD now, whatever. Then I think we'll really, really, really have a hit. But then also I have questions on, because I get really, really tired of people overall just kind of saying, well, the Switch isn't a real system, because, well, no, it is a real system. Okay, first of all, it costs real money, and the games are real. Because what Nintendo's process or thought process has been over the years is our system has to run well enough to run our games. I think, from what I've understand and read about Furukawa, is our system has to print money. I want money. We want to be successful. You guys create games, I make money. That's what we do. So when it comes to third party, because I truly believe in a lot of ways Nintendo really can stand on their own. There's an importance of having your own, and maybe one day I'll get on my soapbox and preach about that. But Nintendo has their own, but also where are they making even more money? Third party. So I do think that if boosting their gigabytes and trillibytes and figamites and putting us in the 5th dimension, the power. Yeah, I have the power. I do think that's a good idea for third party, but also I know that there are a lot of third party games that do run well on Switch already. So my other question is, are y'all just like not taking the time to optimize it for the Switch? And yes, I understand if you don't want to do that, but if you want it to run well and to look well, are you going to commit that time to make sure it's optimized? I think what the benefit is of a PS5 and an Xbox is they don't have to really optimize it. They're just like, okay, it can go on both because both have the power. Switch, we're going to have to put a little bit more time into, and I think that they don't want to do that.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. It makes sense. Let me ask you this, Joycey. What game out there right now that is not on the Switch would you love to have on the Switch? Of course, with the addition of extra power.
And I know some of them, at least one of them is on the Switch. But I mean, with all the oomph that the developers intended, because I do think that they should look the way that the developers intended. I would like to take a crack at the Souls games. I think there's one or two on Switch already, but I mean, really where I can't tell the difference between what system it's on, because I do. While personally I don't care exactly, I don't want a game to fail based off of graphics, based off of it goes at 30, or not 30, 2 FPS or something like that. I don't want those games to suffer, especially when I think they can do better on Switch. I said it.
Yeah. Yeah, and you said something very clearly there that's 100% true, and I 100% stand behind it. It's not so much up to the console; it's up to the developer who develops for the console. Because Nintendo themselves with their developers have done such an amazing job at developing for the Switch, that why how is it that Tears of the Kingdom put so many others to shame, and they have fiascos they've had games that have performed horribly on the Xbox One and PlayStation, right? They've had so many flops over the past couple of months, and here comes Tears of the Kingdom on the little Switch, our little Switch here, and literally destroys all the other games.
But here's the thing, though. Here's the thing. You got to remember this about Nintendo. This is one of the reasons I believe Nintendo is a little bit more successful with certain things, not everything. With certain things with their games is because they give us characters that we've known our entire lives, and now our kids are growing up with them, and our kids are growing up with them. So we only got so much. I use this example like Indiana Jones. I remember when Harrison Ford was much younger and tasty, but seriously, but you can't. He's a human being. He's going to get older, and he can't be swinging from branches and running from boulders all the time. Link can do that forever. Mario can do that forever, so they never have to do any of that. So they're characters that we know, and then they also can make new characters. You know what I mean? So there's that. And also, you got to remember, Nintendo's like, how much fun can we pack into this game? And then somewhere about a quarter to midnight before release, they're like, oh yeah, we got to put a story in here. You know what I mean? So so I think that a lot of third-party games do a little bit better with story specifically.
Yeah. That's another great point there. Paul, what do you think? Take it away. Talk to us,
Fifth
Paul.
Dimension. Oh, sorry.
Power-wise, I don't think that anything is going to be. I just read the comment there. Power-wise, I don't think we don't have anything to worry about for Nintendo Switch 2. I think Nintendo has found the perfect platform to take them into the future with Nintendo Switch, and how they, bridge the gap between their home console division and their portable console division, their hardware in general, and their software line of developers. And they brought us the best system they've ever done. It was strong enough to run the vast majority of third-party games that came out. I'll tell you this is kind of interesting. I won't say the specific developer, but I remember going to E3 2017, and it was 3 months into the Nintendo Switch being out, and you could tell Nintendo Switch is hot. Not just the first month of sales doing well, because every system, even Wii U, had awesome 350,000 first month sales. Second month, third month, going into the fourth month, the horizon is sellout. Like, no, this system is going to be a successful one. I remember, I was going to actually a couple of different developers at E3, but one in particular stood out. They showed off a new game, Xbox One, PS4. Hey, how come this isn't on Nintendo Switch? Did you all not think it was going to be a hot thing? Is it going to come later? It's like, not officially, but we are working now to port it. But the architecture is different. And honestly, we got burned from Wii U. And that's why we did not have the ambition, the thought to put this game that, was being shown and released on this system. But now it's kind of like, it looks like it is going to be something.
That's fair, though. That's a fair thought process.
Some people had that attitude then. Some people, some developers, it even took a year or 2 years later. And like, games don't just take 6 months. Porting a game doesn't just take 6 months in most cases. Games take 3+ years to build. In this new era, it's like 4+ years to build, for depending on the budget and what caliber of game it is. And porting could take a year plus. And the architecture is different on Nintendo Switch than it is on Xbox One, PS4. However, the good thing is Nintendo built a system capable, powerful enough to run the majority, and that's why you were able to see, ports. On Wii was so drastically different in terms of strength than PS3 and Xbox 360, and it was also such a different system, selling a lot to I see more comments, selling a lot to a casual crowd, whereas Nintendo Switch selling a lot to the core gaming audience as well, you have more motivation. Like Activision, they had to make a whole different SKU of Call of Duty on Wii. They couldn't just port down the Xbox 360 version.
Yeah.
And if they didn't see the return being profitable, why bother in the first place? And that's why a lot of third parties skipped their, we didn't get the big Tomb Raider, the Final Fantasy 13, the Street Fighter 4, the Mortal Kombat 8, the Assassin's Creed, Grand Theft Auto 4. There's a lot of games that skipped Wii, and you're like, but Wii sold the best. It sold 101 million compared to those guys' 87, 85 million. Why not? The audience wasn't there. With Nintendo Switch, the audience is there, and the power's there. So a lot of games like, Dragon Ball Z Kakarot, that got ported. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2 remake, that got ported. Now, what some of the developers, and this was something I had a conversation at another E3 actually, is the intentional release of a Nintendo Switch SKU of certain games being after the PS4 and Xbox One versions, because they knew that people would double dip. Again, I won't say what, but this was a strategy that if they knew that, if you released this game that could run on Nintendo Switch, Xbox One, and PlayStation 4, and you could release it at the same time, a big chunk of the people would buy this one because the parity is close enough to, the HD twins, the PS4 and Xbox One. It's close enough to that, and you get the portable factor. It would just sell that. Or it makes more sense to sell to as many people as you can at first, and then release the Nintendo Switch version several months later. And guess what? A lot of the people are gonna buy it again because I want it portably too. And some people held out, and some people only had that system. So, anyways, I'm kind of all over the place, but don't worry about Nintendo Switch 2 power. Nintendo Switch was based off of 2015 tech, came out in 17. They had a good price, good battery life, good power consumption, a good amount of, technical prowess that was able to play the majority of games. Nintendo Switch 2 is probably going to be a 2023 machine, and unless if it comes out this year, but probably a 2024 machine, unless if it comes out this year. And its tech is going to be probably based off of 2022. Guess what also came out around then? Steam Deck. And prices are going down. Batteries are becoming more affordable. Storage is becoming more affordable. All of those Nintendo Switch cartridges now are more affordable than they were to manufacture in 2017. OLED prices are coming down. So we're going to get, I'm pretty sure, if it's the same portable hybrid form, something that is, maybe on the technical raw power, a little bit more powerful than a PS4, but due to the modern technological advancements and faster running RAM, probably closer to Xbox Series S in terms of what are you going to get out of it. And that is, once again, a machine that will be the little brother version of some of the games that are graphically demanding on PS5 and Xbox Series X, but still capable of playing them. And if you're looking at them, most people are like, yeah, it looks the same to me. Oh, but can't you tell the difference in the rocks and the textures on this version of the game? Yeah, but I get this game portably. Now, the only thing I'm hoping is on Nintendo Switch 2, now the developers are saying we're on board from the beginning. We're also not going to intentionally release these games 6 months later because, we want to double dip. No, have the confidence and come out the gate and have all three versions out there for the multi-platform games, and just let them all sell, to each platform owner. And
we're already getting Call of Duty, at least.
Yep.
I don't know when it's coming out, but I'm thinking the other reason now this is me selfishly speaking real quick. If we at least get the power, I think there's a better chance of optimization to where the games almost look like, except for that one rock in the corner that might be a little, you know what I mean? And it'll run well. It almost makes me wonder if it's a possibility that everything could sell better on Switch, just for the simple fact that people can take it with them. It's like I don't even have to. Yeah, you don't even have to stop your game. You just pull it out the dock and and unpause it. You don't even have to pause it, and you're ready to go. Because I would, from a business standpoint, I don't care about GTA. I personally don't. It's not my kind of game. But I wouldn't mind seeing how well a GTA would do on the new GTA 6, because I know that's heavily rumored to be coming out either sometime this year or early next year. That's what I've heard. I do not know anything. I am not an insider. Do not hold me to that. I would love to see how that would do fresh out the gate on a Switch. I would love to see that. I really would. On a Switch 2 Pro, Super NES, 64 NX.
And one thing that we haven't mentioned is that we're gonna have the power of the PS4, Xbox One updated to this century with today's technology, but maybe we'll get that amount of power, like Paul said, to the Xbox Series S, right? And then Nintendo uses DLSS to push it a little further software wise, and that's how we actually get our true, ray tracing and all that stuff via software rather than just all hardware. People are leaving that part out. Back in the day, DLSS wasn't a thing. With Xbox One and X, now it is, and Nintendo can use it to their advantage to not only take that power and of the hardware power and bring it out, but then add more to push it further using DLSS, and software wise, AI, upscaler. That's what one of the patents that we found is a Nintendo has a patent. It's called an AI upscaler, where it automatically upscales the image to a higher resolution. And I'm not sure, because I know DLSS is from NVIDIA. Nintendo has their own AI upscaler and a patent that we found a while back that they could probably use, or maybe they are already using it. Who knows? But these there's a lot that could happen with the Switch 2. All we know is that it's coming. Whether this year, next year, I think next year for sure. This year, hopefully. Well, next year for sure. I'm leaning more towards next year now. It's already
it's tomorrow.
It's already July. How is it tomorrow? It's not tomorrow. No worry, you're not gonna get any tattoos. Tomorrow's what, Thursday?
No, I'm not gonna get any unwanted tattoos. I am set to get a tattoo eventually by end of next year, but it's for something completely. It's not for that.
The Triforce.
It is Zelda related. I was like, because I only get tattoos after I thoroughly think about them. And I already have to get my other two touched up because it's been about 10, 15 years. So it's time to get them touched up.
Yeah.
Because mine are all colorful and pretty.
So one last question. I know we're over that 2-hour mark. We've had a great conversation on this mock-up here. And of course, the Jeff Grubb news. One last question for the crew. Starting with Vandy. Switch 2 or new name? So in other words, switch branding or new branding?
I don't know. So I guess for the first answer is that I don't have a preference either way. I feel like Switch 2, everyone knows what we're getting. Everybody knows it's going to be a banger. Switch is the king of consoles right now, has been for a while. So Switch 2, they're like, let's continue. Let's continue this trend. We're still here. We're still going to be the king of consoles. We're just going to be even more powerful. So I feel like that could be good. I don't have a preference. Or it's like, all right, well, what if we go Switch Pro, Switch, like some sort of different, or like not even like Switch. If they kind of change up the name fully, I still feel like Nintendo will kind of have the same effect as like, we're still the king of consoles, we're still going to go, but there might be more possibilities for something more unique.
Yeah.
So I, like if I'm in their marketing team, like I don't know. I don't have a preference. I'm fully confident whether it's Switch 2 or the GameCube I don't know, fluffing, whatever. And they're trying to kind of being like, we're still Nintendo, we're still here,
Uh-huh.
but we have more opportunity for something more unique. I have full confidence that everything you're do is going to be just banger. So I don't have a preference, but I would probably lean towards me guessing it would be like a Switch 2, Switch Plus, Switch Pro, something like that, just to kind of keep the consistency a little bit, a little bit more, and kind of like continue their branding that way. That's what I would guess, but I don't have a preference either way.
Yeah. And Joycey, Switch or new brand?
First, look at our side discussion real quick.
Side discussion.
It's right there on screen, bro.
This is fake.
No,
the private chat.
What cousin Paul just said.
Oh, okay.
Cousin Paul's always right.
Let me go to cousin Paul here. Let me see here. Remember, guys, I'm a little blind, so I'm trying to figure out here. Where's cousin Paul?
It's in our private chat. I call him cousin Paul. I adopt everybody eventually.
Well, isn't he Dr. Nintendo?
No, Vandy had a 6.
Anyway, never mind. But seriously, to answer your question, personally, I'm one of those people that I just said it a little while ago. I am not tech savvy. I don't speak tech. I think everything is either fifth dimension or what. I don't even know what fifth dimension means. So you're gonna have to talk to people like me who don't know tech but do like video games. What drove me crazy about the Apple iPad back in the day when the third iPad came out, they didn't call it Apple or iPad 3. They called it new iPad.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, I don't know what does that mean? What is it? What? And I didn't understand that. You have to talk to people like me. Switch Plus, Switch Pro. Do not do new Switch. No.
Yeah.
We got a new Switch. It's called the OLED. Don't do that. We got another show. Just and if it's all it is more powerful. Because I think the Switch, what it actually does is very, very solid. They don't need to change that. We don't need anything. We don't need another Wii, which was great, but it was gimmicky. We just need to stick with the Switch. It needs to be Switch, like Vandy said, Switch Pro, Switch Plus, the extra Switch, or my personal favorite that I made up, the Super Nintendo Switch, 64 NES. QB.
Combine all the names.
Yeah, just combine all the names.
Right.
Yeah, but actually somebody else in the chat said that a little bit earlier, the Super Nintendo Switch. And I'm like, that actually is a good one because it's a throwback and it speaks to people who are not tech savvy like me. It's like, but this is a newer one and it's super, which means it's more powerful. It also is a play on the old one. So yeah, which I think was Nintendo's best-selling system until the Wii. I think. Yeah. Paul, correct me.
Yeah.
Which system?
The SNES.
If you don't count like Game Boy Advance or DS or then home console,
yeah.
Super Nintendo was their best. It actually went like, it's almost crazy how it goes NES, Super NES, N64, GameCube. You take away Wii, it's Wii U. It really goes in this trajectory of like 60, 50, 30, 20, 12. And
then comes the Switch, and that's why Mike always tells us never give up.
And then
the Wii did really well.
Right. If it wasn't for Wii, you look at the rest of them, it is a sad decline. Yeah. I think when you're on top of the world, you use your name to build on that brand awareness, and you go, Nintendo Entertainment System, we're the kings. Super Nintendo Entertainment System, we're the kings. Nintendo 64, because we still think we're the kings. Oh, but we actually lost that gen. Second place, Sega Saturn technically got third. Nintendo GameCube, try to come up with something different and build the name around how the system looks. Then actually Nintendo purposely left out their name Nintendo from Wii marketing. They didn't want to have, believe it or not, the familiarity with Nintendo and something. So if you look at it, what is it called? It's not called Nintendo Wii. It's called Wii. And when people say, oh, yeah, the Nintendo Wii, that's actually not accurate, just Wii. Not that they wanted to abandon it completely, but they didn't want to have that instant familiarity with it, so they called it Wii. And it made sense on how it invited people, the logo, W-I-I, we, us, playing together, the two eyes, people bowing. They looked like remotes, friendly to say. You know, but we in other languages means different things. Like we, when you hear it in French, is yes, but most of the world, English speaking, well, gamer wise, probably we. Anyways, so they went with Wii U because they had a big success. So once again, they did what they did from NES to Super NES, but kind of confused it with U. And I remember, I don't, you know, we'll talk for another 40 minutes if I go on too long, but U wasn't really clicking well, and they did it. I think Nintendo Switch, though, clicks. I think this is the NES. And even though the fun part of me wants to say Super Nintendo Switch or Nintendo Switch Super, I think the best thing that you could do from a marketing standpoint to not confuse gamers, because then they're going to be like, wait, Nintendo Switch Lite, the Nintendo Switch OLED, the Nintendo Switch Super. We get it. We could differentiate. But if you're going into the store, if you're watching TV, if you're someone that's not totally glued in, you're like, well, do I want the OLED or the Lite or the Super or the base? And Nintendo Switch 2, it's simple. It's not as cool. It's not as fun. But there's no mistake that this is the sequel. This is the successor. And when you have such a large install base, I would say take the least risky avenue, build up on that powerful name, and make sure that people know it's the proper successor. So I take the boring route with Nintendo Switch 2 on this one. And then if you want to have interim models, later on have the Nintendo Switch 2 Lite, and then later on have the Nintendo Switch 2 Super, or the Nintendo Switch 2 Pro, or Nintendo Switch 2 Plus, then the Nintendo Switch 3, then the Nintendo Switch 3 Lite, then the Nintendo Switch 3 Super. And then once you build that, then you could have your boring base model with the number attached to it, base model with a number and the word Lite, base model with the number and the fun adjective that says Super or something like that.
So similar to PlayStation?
Similar to iPhone, more like iPhone. Because iPhone has... Yeah, go ahead.
PlayStation's not as fun. PS1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But it worked, and it built up an audience that was clear as day looking forward to the next numbered system. And when they had PS2 Slim and PSONE, which was the smaller PS1, and the PS3 Slim and the Super Slim and the 4 Slim and the 4 Pro, like it's always been just less fun, more business-like, but it worked in that transition. And then in Xbox, Microsoft was considering naming the Xbox 360 Xbox 3, and their marketing campaign was going to be Xbox, 3 components, where it played games, it did online, and it did your DVDs, because they were worried that Xbox 2 would sound inferior to PlayStation 3. And then they ended up just going with Xbox 360 being, it's the whole picture that you're getting in your living room, and that's what it was. What's another way for the whole picture 360? Xbox One, the whole thing again. And then now they went with like Xbox Series as a, maybe we'll do this for the future. They had to change it up because the 360 and the One wasn't working enough. Xbox Series X. Maybe they'll have the Xbox Series, but do they run into a problem where they run out of letters? What's the next one going to be? Just call it Xbox 5 and consider S and X as 2, so then they could be back on the number scale, or call it Xbox 6. Pretend
What
that
if they go Roman numerals for like XI for like 11, even though there's not 11 of them?
If they want, they could retroactively say Xbox was the first, 360 was their second, One was their third, Xbox Series S and X are fourth and fifth, and then they could call it Xbox 6. PlayStation 6 and Microsoft is equal again in terms of numbers, where they always wanted to be. And Nintendo-wise, Nintendo, for as much as some people say, oh, Nintendo's not a competitor, they're very much a competitor. They're the winner. You know who says we're not in competition with them? The people who are losing. When you're losing, you don't say that those are the competitor. That's the competitor because you don't want to say I'm losing. Like, nah, they're doing their own thing. We're first place between the two of us. No, you're second place compared to the one who is a little bit different, who's technically winning. Yeah. Sorry. No.
You're good. I mean, you're making some good points. I wasn't to let you finish your point because there are really good points. I'm going to go ahead and be the other side now. And I'm going to say I feel like the best strategic way and best thing for marketing so that the entire consumer base, I mean the entire consumer base, not only people who buy Nintendos, I'm talking about parents here, right? Some grandparents, I'm going to include grandparents in there too, right? Not every parent is as super as Paul Gill, so the best thing for Nintendo, and I'm pretty sure that when the Wii was in the middle of the Wii, that we were all weed out and we were like really excited because we were excited how many it was selling well. We were having so much fun with the Wii. At the moment, if we would have considered, the Wii, the next console for us as gamers, they would have told us beforehand, the Wii 2. Right, the Wii 2 is coming out. I think for us would have been a good idea because we were just in the midst of the Wii, and we were excited for the next thing. But then again, the next thing they carried the Wii name, and unfortunately, they did not predict what was going to happen, but it happened. It was just confusing, People say, a better name would have not made a difference. It would have made a difference marketing wise. I think it would because marketing is everything. You have to market something. Nintendo's good at marketing in a certain ways and they fail in other ways. I think that for this next gen console, if it's a next gen console, seeing the fact that we already have we've had a Gen 1 Switch, we've had kind of like a Gen 2 Switch because that minor upgrade, the Switch Lite, Switch OLED, all the OLED models additions. Also, we've had so many different Switches already released. The best thing will be a brand new name that's not Switch, and I don't think it will hurt. I think it'll benefit because again, like I'm taking a little bit from everything. Vandy said it himself. What sells is Nintendo. Put Nintendo in front of everything. That's gonna brand it there. Nintendo's been around, and also Joyce said it as well. Nintendo banks on our childhood heroes when it comes to the games that they sell, their IPs. So let's say play the next Zelda game on Nintendo Evolution, or whatever they call it, Nintendo Super, Nintendo Super, right? Whatever they decide to call it, I think that the best way marketing wise to move forward and everybody understand this is the next system. This is not the Switch. This is not the Wii U. This is not the Wii. This is not this is a brand new system. Will be to actually have a brand new name. I think for me personally, I think that will be an exciting thing just to guess, man, what's the next console going to be like? What will be called, right? What will be the hook this time? Because
I got a question.
We've had the Switch for 7 years now. I want to know what the next hook is going to be. What's the next gimmick that's going to kind of pull us in, right? But just so that I can give another, just so it can be the other side of the coin, I think hopefully Nintendo moves forward and gives us a new name. Take it away, Josie.
I was going to say the only reason that I'm in agreement with Paul because I was able to hear everything. I just couldn't find a headset, and I have literally a jillion. So the only reason I say let's go with Switch because it is the safe bet, because really that's not what's selling the Switch itself is the portability factor, the fact that you can switch back and forth, and of course what sells any console are the games. It's the software, and so nobody, let's be honest here, we got to give Sony its credit. Nobody didn't buy a PS5 because they had a PS4, because they had a PS3, because they had a PS2. You know, we can bank that the next one's probably going to be called a PS6. So, so I don't think that Nintendo needs the gimmick anymore. And I love the fact that they're creative and they think outside the box and they're completely out to lunch in a good way. But I think business wise, if I was Furukawa, I would say, no, we're calling it the Switch Pro. We're calling it the Super Nintendo Switch. We're calling it Switch something, Switch Evolution, Switch Revolution, whatever the heck. Because the thing about it is people are still going to understand that it does the same thing. I can still take it on an airplane and I can still plug it up in my TV. Okay, great. But we have more power. We have whatever the new thing they can add into the Switch itself to hook to get us. But yay games. I think that's really what's going to be. It's going to be like, okay, great. We got a new system with more fun stuff, whatever it's going to do. But yay games. That's what I think. It's more yay games. That's but I do see what you're saying. I know that traditionally speaking, Nintendo's always kind of switched it up every console, but I don't think that's the best idea this time. Yeah,
but the thing is that if you go back to the Wii, I'm pretty sure if we had this podcast with the Wii, we would all been on the same exact train again, saying, "Oh yeah, Wii 2. We're gonna get the Wii 2. Wii 2 is great," and you know. But
it also didn't look very different either.
But I'm also thinking about, like I said, that when I first started staying in my point of view was I'm thinking about the grandpa. I'm not talking about me myself personally. I know the Switch 2 is gonna be Switch 2. I'm thinking about that stubborn grandpa who's gonna go shopping, who has no things about. He knows he needs to get the newest one, but he doesn't want to ask any questions. He's gonna go get whatever he gets there. Oh yeah, he wants the Switch. That's all I want to know. I don't care anyone else. I want to get the Switch. Christmas morning. Switch, but grandpa, this is not the real one. I want the new one. You know, there's a lot going on out there, and a lot of people are not as savvy gaming wise as we are. And so when I think that in that point of view, for me, from as a gamer, as a YouTuber, as a content creator, as somebody who loves Nintendo, I'm on the Switch 2 train. As a consumer that is not as knowledgeable as us and knows already about the Switch and is thinking, they're not thinking about what's they're not thinking about the Switch. All they know is that the Switch is the current brand right there, the current brand. So if you give another console, you put it in their hands and you call it the Switch again, then for them, because they could care less about gaming and about naming and about IPs or whatever. If you put another Switch in their hands, they're not gonna tell you the difference. Which one's the two, and which was the one? If you put two controllers like this, which controller belongs to the two, and which controller belongs to the one? You know what I mean? They don't care. I don't care. This one here, like this, is like when you put a video cassette in an 8-year-old's hand. What is this? A spaceship? You know, the same thing with some people when it comes to technology. They're not there for that. And I remember when working my prior job, when I used to sell in a store, that's why this device here is named the way it is, so that it creates less confusion for consumers of all ages. Now, if they keep the Switch branding, what they have to do is make it clear that this is no longer, this is a Nintendo console, but the console itself from now on is called a Switch. I remember back in the 80s where they had this big poster telling everybody, hey, don't call this a Nintendo, okay? This is an entertainment system. This is not a Nintendo. Nintendo's a brand. This is called an entertainment system. And it didn't catch on because Nintendo wanted to train everybody not to call it a Nintendo, but to call it an entertainment system. Yeah, the brand is Nintendo, but they want an entertainment system. And I think I have, I saw that poster, really old poster. They're selling it for $1,000 on eBay. But
that's when our parents were younger and they still called it. It didn't matter what your system was.
I mean, even if you had a
I'm playing PlayStation, Mom. You playing on that Nintendo?
Turn off the Nintendo. I'm like, it's not a Nintendo, it's a PlayStation.
It's a Sega, Mom. You play.
Exactly.
Oh, you playing the Nintendo. Yes,
and
Mom.
those parents still exist. Believe it or not, they
She still
exist.
exists. She still calls everything Nintendo.
So
Everything.
imagine now that
Everything
we're in
is
this
Nintendo.
portable era, and you're going to have the Rogue Ally and the Steam Deck and the this and the this and the this. 7 years from now, you playing the Switch? Well, it's a Switch. It's a Switch 2. No, it's the PlayStation Vita 2. No, it's just a Switch. So sometimes, like iPhone, you see a lot with. There's a generation that every smartphone is. You have an iPhone? Well, I have an Android. Well, I have a Galaxy, but iPhone became so synonymous with smartphone, and I don't even know if iPhone is the single most best-selling brand. Something else might be better. Maybe there are more Androids in the world, but iPhone as a name,
iPhone is the best brand ever. It's the top selling. The all time. It's the top selling, the best in the world. Nothing is better than it. Reign supreme forever and ever.
I mean, I have an iPhone, but I think like non-smartphone tech people, savvy, like their first guess would probably be iPhone. Or what's that tablet? Do you say what's that tablet? Or look at the iPad. Certain brands,
Nobody's calling it a Nokia. I'll tell you that much.
Not your Microsoft Surface Pro. It might be. That's an iPad. So Switch is probably going to become. I think it already is synonymous with portable gaming, and that's why I'm in favor of keeping the name.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe Grandpa don't want to ask questions or everything like that, but we got to remember, Grandpa ain't our grandpa. My grandfather would be in his 90s now. My grandmother is 98. God love her. I still have her. So she's 98. She knows what a Nintendo is, obviously. She's had to put up with me her entire life.
Yeah.
Or my entire life. But she doesn't know what a GameCube is. She doesn't know what a she knows what a PlayStation is, but she doesn't know what a PS5 is. She doesn't know. She has no clue what an Xbox is. Mm-hmm. But my mom, I will not say her age in case she ever watches. But my mom is quote, and my dad was a software engineer. So they're quote unquote hip enough to where, and they have cell phones and they have the latest and greatest. My dad has an iPhone. My mom has Android. I forgot which one. But they know what the difference is. So we got to remember, grandma and grandpa ain't our grandmas and grandpas.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
They exist. I mean,
they exist. Yes,
they exist.
They do exist.
They exist, and they exist in a great multitude of them. Because working at the Apple store, again, I work for Apple. I have met them personally. They exist. They're out there. All right, guys. Guess what? We have gone. Like normally we're a 2-hour podcast. We went over 30 minutes, but we've had fun, right? When we have fun, time flies by, and
we can't help it.
Before I want to go ahead and pass it on to Vandy so he can let us know what he has going on, where we can find him, and all the
slumber party.
The stuff. And he can also plug in Lynn's as well. Go ahead.
Yeah. So I am Vandy323. I'm pretty much all platforms except for Twitch. It's Vandy_323 because somehow someone stole Vandy323. But yeah, I do a lot of Pokemon, some other like Nintendo things like Mario and Zelda. I have a lot of really amazing video ideas coming out starting a week from Sunday. That I think are brand new ideas, which is crazy because a lot of people pretty much say that like there's no such thing as a brand new idea. I say false. So definitely keep an eye out for that if you guys enjoy like some Pokemon stuff. It's very highly entertaining, and I always love my co-hosts that kind of film the Pokemon challenges or Pokemon trivia with me. And then of course you guys should also go follow my girlfriend Lynn's. She's Lynn's Vids on YouTube and Twitch. She's absolutely amazing. Is also planning a lot of really cool videos. Is an amazing live streamer. Super entertaining. Such an incredibly like safe environment. So yeah, definitely subscribe to both of us. We both make some pretty dang good content. So
it's awesome. It's like I say here. It's safe for the little eyes and the little ears in the family. So you guys are highly recommended, highly entertaining. So
very.
I recommend it 100%. Let's go over to Miss Dr. Joycey J.
That doctor takes me out. I'm Joy CJ, nobody special, but I am on Twitter at CJJoyce. I am special because Mike says I am. Okay, there's that. But you know, is Mike right 100% of the time?
120% of the time, I'm right.
Okay. Well, I don't do content or anything like that. You couldn't pay me to make a YouTube channel. However, I love these guys to pieces. I love talking games. I love Zelda, and I don't tweet very often, but I'm always down to talk about games. So feel free to at me if you want to talk about something about games.
Mm-hmm. All right, over to Paul Gale Network.
Well, like Mike just said, I'm Paul Gale Network on Twitter and on YouTube. And as far as something coming up soon, this Sunday, the 23rd, will be the first time that the following people, Roger from Roger's Base, Nate from Nintendo Prime, OJ from Player Essence, and myself get together and review a video game. And that's going to be called Review Crew. It'll be available on everybody's channels, so that's going to be out there. And the game that we are reviewing is The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. We're going to start off with some quick initial thoughts on the game from each of our takes, and then kind of break it down and talk about what are the graphics like, the sound design, the audio choices, the gameplay control. Does it work? Does it function properly? Any technical aspects that are in there, things that you could document and then factually, objectively say it does the following, and then provide a lot of, subjective thoughts. But even though everyone's got an opinion, opinions based off of a lot of experience in said game and familiarity with the franchise, and how does it compare with perhaps past Zelda games, action adventure games in general. What else is new in 2023, and is it, up there against other software on competing hardware, etc., and try to give a very good comprehensive breakdown. Each one of us will provide our own score out of 10, but on a 100-point scale. So, 8.5s and 6.7s, all that kind of stuff is possible. And then that'll be divided out by 4, and then that will represent the Review Crew score. So it might take a little bit of time, but we'll see. OpenCritic, Metacritic, they don't obviously take everybody's reviews into consideration. There's, a couple hundred that they, respect enough. But, Review Crew might pop up on there eventually. But if not, if we review enough games, maybe people will say, what's Review Crew's take on Pikmin 3? What's Review Crew's take on Mortal Kombat 1? I like the way that they gather around and talk. So it's going to be an interesting start, and we'll see how it goes from there. And maybe the three of you will be on to cover future games if there's something passionate about, like a Pokemon, a Zelda, a Mario, But we'll see. We'll see where it goes.
I go to Vandy and Linz if I have any Pokemon questions.
We got you.
I'll go to Review Crew if I have any questions at all for anything else. Pokemon, Vandy, Lens, and then Review Crew for everything else. And then Joy CJ for Dr. Zelda lore and stuff. So yeah.
I have so many videos to catch up on now that I finished the game.
So on my end, you can find me here at the Odyssey here on this channel. Go ahead and subscribe. Make sure you hit that like button. Right now, we are basically pushing to get towards 100K by the end of the year. If we do, we get 20 Switch OLEDs or lights or baseball, whichever you choose. We're gonna give them away at the 100K celebration. We do still have every 10K Switch giveaway. So when every 10K milestone, we still give the Switch out. We have a tournament coming up. If you guys want to join, Mario Kart tournament, not Splatoon, the other one, Fall Guys. I use Mario Kart and Fall Guys because that's the game that almost everybody has. Fall Guys is free to download. And then
want to play with me because I love Splatoon.
And then Mario Kart, everybody and their mother has it. So Yoshi, do you have Mario Kart?
I do, actually. I have booted it up twice. In 5 years.
You guys see the new set. I'm still working on the new set. I promised that I was gonna. You guys loved it. Gave me the feedback. you want to see this set and no set alone and no voiceover thing, I'm dealing with some health issues. Once I'm done with that, I'll be back here on this set 100%. Plus, I have 2 major events or big plans happening. Quick update on a plan, event happening in 2025. Nintendo Con. Just we have some updates this past week on Nintendo Con. Things are looking good. We are expected to be at the convention center, one of the biggest in Florida, here in Orlando, by Universal and SeaWorld. It's a huge convention center, very beautiful. It's called, I think it's at the Orange County Convention Center. Look it up, it's beautiful. So we are already in conversations to set that for 2025. So Nintendo Con is happening. But there's another little project that I've been working on behind the scenes that has to do with games as well. This one is for closer. It's next year in the summer, and I can happily put it out there already. There's something called Indie Mania that we are working on behind the scenes that is coming together nicely. I got a couple of people who have already joined the crew from back in Full Sail. I mean, they have their productions and everything. A whole bunch of indie developers who have contacted me. They're super excited about it. Next year, I'm not Jeff Grubb, but I'm going to try look for just a little bit, bring you guys an Indie Mania show. And the people you see on this podcast, they're part of it. Okay, they're part of it. Joycey, I'm not sure Joycey is down here. Is she down here? Yeah. Below me? And then we got here Mandy on my side, and then Paul Gill in that corner. Is that how it is? How is it? They are part of it. Okay, so July 2024, we're gonna have the first ever Indie Mania, which is going to be a showcase, an event dedicated to all indie games. All right, independent games who need a spotlight to shine. In 2025, we'll have the first ever Indie Mania Awards, which will be highlighting the games from the past year independently released, and we're gonna get a few jewels out of there. Right now, I'm still talking to a bigger company that wanted to join, which I'll probably tell you next week, and I'll give you more information on that. But Indie Mania, stay tuned. It's not gonna be on this channel. It's gonna be on its own channel. Indie Mania channel is gonna be have their own channel and everything. So I'll let you know once you guys can start subscribing and then sharing the information, sharing the news. Because it's going to be big, it's going to be awesome, and it's going to be super fun. I can't wait to share more news with you guys. All right, guys, guess what? That's it for this podcast. That's the wrong one.
Mike and these buttons, y'all.
Just
hit them all at once. Just like that.
Nintopic podcast.
That's it, right? All right, guys. That is it for this episode of the Nintopic podcast. But before we let you go, we got 2 things we need to let you know. Super important. Paul, take it away, Paul. We into you.
First, never give up.
And Randy, what's
Don't
next?
do that.
Journey on.
And Liz, Liz is not here. And
we love Lynn's.
Joycey J. What else?
We love Lynn's.
We love Liz. And then what else? What's the last thing we say?
They already said it. Never give up. Journey on. And they're just words to live by. Peace.
Goodbye.
It's never goodbye.
You guys are awesome. Thank you so much. Don't forget to hit that like button down there. See ya. Bye. I always have trouble ending the stream. What's going on?
That's why I never say bye.
Bye.
We're probably still going.
We are.
Bye.